Oh, that's what I'm trying to do. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, I guess it would help
That
if I
probably
popped
did
out,
it.
Probably if I popped out
There
the
it goes.
chat
That's what I'm
of
trying to
the
do. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right.
on the
Sorry,
browser, it would
everybody.
help
That
if I
probably
popped
did
out
it.
logged in as. Probably if I popped out
There
the
it goes.
chat
That's what I'm
of
trying to
the
do. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right.
on the
Sorry,
browser, it would
everybody.
help
That
if I
probably
popped
did
out
it.
logged in as. I could actually
if I
type in the
popped out
There
chat.
it goes.
Chat
That's what I'm
of
trying to
the
do. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right.
on the
Sorry. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I was wondering why I was getting echo, and I had one of the streams up already, and I didn't have it muted. It's a Monday, everybody. It's been one of those weeks already, and I just got here. Hey, Shua. Good to see you, man. We're doing good, man. We're doing good. Today, that's a loaded question today. Is there an echo? There might be an echo.
I am not hearing an echo.
There shouldn't be. I hope not. I'm hoping not anyway. We're gonna find out. Hey, Galaxy, how you doing? Guys, let us know if there's an echo. We had like no time to sound tweak here today. So there's an echo over on the Rumble side.
I said there's no. Oh, sorry. I meant to say there's no echo.
Oh, okay.
Damn it! Damn it!
I'm like, what are we talking about? Okay. Okay, she was saying we're good.
YouTube,
all right. Okay. All right, cool. All right. So, all right. Well, that's an interesting start. Every time I do things through OBS, something's broken when I start it. Freaking drives me crazy. Such a janky program. It's been an interesting few weeks as I've kind of been retooling the channel and stuff. You guys are starting to see content come out again. Hopefully that's going to pick up speed as things go along. I've got a couple other videos that are mostly baked that are short videos. I've got another long video that's a companion piece to what we're talking about tonight because Mike came to me and said, hey, let's do Coleco. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm like,
that's exactly how he said it too.
I was 6 when I played this thing last. This might take a bit. So I started doing my homework. So here we are today, and this will be kind of like just sort of a chat. I found out Coleco's a much, much stranger company than I ever realized. It's very bizarre.
Oh, yeah.
Galaxy was my first console as well, so you're not alone there. That was my absolute first console. Hey, Stampede, good to see you, man.
Stampede and Scepter. YouTube is like 10 seconds
BCB
behind.
called OBS old dog shit. I can't help but laugh hard enough.
We might want to try Rumble Studio one night because it does multi-stream to both.
Is it public?
Oh yeah.
Now? Okay.
It is, and it does multi-stream to YouTube.
Okay. I might try it for this. I haven't messed with that at all.
It might be worth.
And I didn't know it was public. I thought it was still in beta. And I never opted into the beta. So, Galaxy, I absolutely loved Smurfs. I had Smurfs on there as well. That was probably one of my early and probably most played games next to Time Pilot, I think. Those were like 2 of my most played games.
Really?
And apparently YouTube's like 10 seconds behind, and that doesn't surprise me for whatever reason. YouTube is always a little behind, and I don't quite understand why. I'm going to have to do more digging on that. But they have consistently been behind on stream time. And I'm not sure what's going on there. But as always, when we start... I thought graphically Smurfs was actually pretty amazing. One of the games they get lauded for the most as far as quality is their version of Donkey Kong versus pretty much all the others that were out, especially on consoles at the time, because it was one of the closest to the arcade for the time period. Now, keep in mind, this is pre-Nintendo Entertainment System too, right? So this.
Well, well, yes and no. So the Famicom was out in Japan. They didn't bring the Famicom stateside.
No,
so
they tried to bring it stateside as something called the AVS, which didn't really work over here. So it wasn't until '85 we got the reworked version of the Famicom that they called the NES. But even the Famicom, I don't think came out till like '83, and the Colecovision was '82.
So, give me a second because let me look at something real quick.
I hadn't looked up the Famicom.
Yeah, it was. And
so 83. So actually, I remember. I got that right. I'm surprised. Yep. Okay.
It was 83, and the fact that the fact that Nintendo decided instead of, in whatever bizarre fashion, instead of bringing that hardware over to the States, they decided to license Donkey Kong to Coleco, who then put it on the Intellivision, or the Colecovision, and then a year later, the Intellivision and Atari 2600. So it was a really crazy. There's a crazy story behind it that it's really funny because we'll get into
some of that because I want to cover some of that tonight because there's a lot of rigmarole behind Donkey Kong between Nintendo, Atari, and Coleco to be discussed.
I did an entire video on Donkey Kong.
What's up, Bless? Good to see you, man.
And referenced you in it. Just,
I recall. Bless, congrats on 833, man. You're getting right close to 1K, man. Congratulations on
brother,
that.
Bless in the house. Dude.
Yeah, Bless is getting really close to 1K. He's right within spitting distance.
He is. And Hemp will be on with us tomorrow. Hemp and Gamer Girl.
Yeah, I keep trying to get people. I keep trying to get more people on here, but I don't think this is the kind of topic that most people on Rumble are comfortable coming on to talk about. And even this one, I did a lot of homework. So, hey, Fastback, Boogie, what's up? Yeah, we got all sorts of people coming in now. So before we get fully deep into this and start going into early Coleco, which actually didn't start out as Coleco, Mike, what have you been up to lately?
Oh, Lord. All right, so much to your chagrin, a lot of Fortnite. However, I can't. It's just one of those I feel. I know, and it does not offend me in any way, shape, or form. Although it is funny, I do want to shout out Sir X-Man because he was like, I'm never playing that, and he texted me on Saturday and said, "Damn it, Mike, I just downloaded it." Same with Back from the Dead. Back from the Dead. He made fun of Peter and me. And now he's like up to us where we are in levels.
I can continue to make fun of you. It just, I don't know. It just doesn't.
Perfectly fine.
It's not I don't begrudge anybody playing it. It's just not a big draw to me personally, right?
No, and that's okay. It is something, and it is something you have to play with friends. Like if I was trying to play it by myself, and that's how I got started in it.
Yeah, I played it a handful of times back when building was still a thing, and I'm like, eh. At best it was really dull because the way I played it was very boring. Agent. Part of it was the way I played it, and part of it was every time I dropped into a really crowded area, I got insta killed by like 5 people at the same time turning and shooting me. So I'm like, all right, so go into a crowded area to try to have fun, and I die. I play on the outskirts, and I'm really bored. So maybe this isn't a me game, you know.
And I wouldn't play it in build mode either. I wouldn't play it in build mode.
That's all there was when I played it. That's how long ago it's been since I played it.
Yeah.
That's all there was.
There are more people that play zero build than play the build mode. You can see what the numbers are. And speaking of back, who now plays Fortnite as well. Haha. But I've also been playing Everspace 2, which I really I really like. It's a space It's like this like a slimmed down X-wing versus TIE fighter kind of game. It's space exploration and combat, but it's really good and really solid. So I've been doing that. I have been over the weekend. Actually went outside. I had a gig Saturday night. Really great gig.
You touched grass. Band gig. What's wrong with you?
Touched grass. Okay. This is funny. So the band I play in was doing a bar mitzvah party on Saturday night.
This is going to look goofy for a second, guys. I apologize. I can't.
Oh, go ahead. We've been working on new music. Now, I'm not a big fan of the newer music, like the stuff that's out today. I'm really not.
Some of it I really like, some of it I don't. It just depends on who it is.
Yeah, it's hard for me. We learned 2 songs by the weekend, and I sing them both. Actually, I sing one of them, and then I sing Can't Feel My Face, and then I sing Blinding Lights with our female singer. Her and I split that up. And I'm telling you, this is the cutest thing. We started playing that song, and I'm out. My guitar player, Wayne, goes behind the keyboard, and he plays the keyboard on that so I can go out and actually sing.
Right.
And there was like this gaggle of like 4 like 13-year-old girls. You know how it is. You play a song like that, and the girls go crazy. So I'm singing this, and I look over, and I'm not even facing them. I'm facing like over here because I'm just like kind of scanning the crowd. I look over, and I'm getting this. You ever see those videos, the teenage girls in the crowd when Elvis would come on, and they're just I had these girls like eating out of my hand doing these 2 songs for the weekend. It was hilarious. And I'm like, you guys know I'm 50, right? To the point where I'm almost thinking I might want to back up a couple steps and just kind of come here, Roseanne, come here and stand next to me, please, but it was so funny. And the mom at the end of the night, the mom of the kid said, I don't know what you did, but I've never we're all Jewish and it's in a synagogue social hall. She says, I've been to bar mitzvah parties, bat mitzvah parties all over the place. I've never seen the kids get up and dance. They usually sit at their table on their phones and talk to each other and play a couple party games, and that's it. I've never seen them dance all night. And I'm like,
hey, if everybody's having a good time, everybody's having a good time, man.
That's the difference, but it's the difference between a DJ and a band.
Yeah.
A DJ stands behind a table and just kind of nowadays they press buttons and play songs, and they don't really interact with anybody.
Well, a lot of times you can do mixing and stuff like that. That's where a lot of the
DJ
skill stuff comes in. Mind you, I'm not a DJ and I have no experience with DJs, but from what I've seen online and stuff, that's kind of how they handle things when they're not just kicking off track after track, that kind of stuff.
But I've got a female singer that's out in the crowd, and then I come out in the crowd when on a few songs that I say my guitar player comes over and plays keyboard on. But right. We're also all moving. My guitar player's moving around doing this, and he's singing while I'm out there singing, my hands in the air. And, like we were even doing stuff like Backstreet Boys, which I have 3 people in my band that can do 3-part harmony. And these kids who were not even born when this stuff came out were completely into it because they see us moving, they see us, and we're singing to these kids, right? We're singing to them, and there's just a difference. Anyway, that was my Saturday night.
Yeah, Boogie makes a good point. Just selecting tracks isn't a DJ. That anybody can do that. That's not really a DJ. It might be a DJ for like an event like a bar mitzvah or something like that. That might be more what you run into, but that's not like I wouldn't really call that a real DJ. You know what I mean?
Right. But these, like, when I'm singing and these kids are singing back to me, that's the interaction. Dumb. That's the interaction. So anyway, that was my weekend. And so it's been a bit of gaming, but a bit of fun. And we're continuing on. We did we were accepted into the Rumble Small Creator program
last week. Delete got in, a bunch of other people getting in. I did one blanket congratulations for people because it just kept coming in over and over and over again.
Yeah, Hemp got in.
Oh, that's cool. I guess all you needed was just like enough followers, right? You just needed like enough followers and like an idea of like a schedule you wanted to do.
It's followers and it's how often you're streaming. Like we are streaming 5 days a week now.
Yeah, I'm streaming once every other week right now.
And right, so I mean, there's a whole difference in that. Oh yeah, Galaxy's right. Peter and I did play Skull and Bones on Thursday. So, which is kind of growing on us. It's the straight Ubisoft formula of.
Oh, Hemp already hit 150. Holy cow, I am behind on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't grow on here at all because I don't enjoy streaming that much. And it may come to the point that if I use this platform, it's going to be Rumble. I mean, it will be just for streaming. I don't think there's a market for the other content I do here on Rumble. There is on YouTube. There is not on Rumble. It's not there. It's not wanted, period. I can tell you that from experience. So I may just change it over to like a streaming platform and try to stream a couple of days a week. I doubt I'll hit 5. 1, I don't think I can handle 5. And 2, I don't think I don't have enough stuff I want to do 5. It's too much like a second job for me personally at that point, which is why I wouldn't really apply for the partnership in the first place. I don't think I'd be able to put enough time in.
Good. I mean, my wife goes to bed at 10 o'clock, so it gives me the ability, and it has gotten me into gaming more with friends. So I mean, we brought back the Friday night with Peter and Mike, and that's actually turned. What's up, Cy? That's actually turned into like Friday night with Peter, Mike, and a whole bunch of other people, because we've got this rotating group of folks that are coming in. If we're playing Fortnite, we got 4 or 5 people that want to come in and play. If we're playing Exoprimal, which we may not play much anymore because I think that game has died out, there's a bunch of people that are playing that with us. So we're constantly getting people that are coming along and playing games with us.
I'm not the biggest pinball aficionado. There might be some people in chat that can help you out, though, on that one. I do not know that much on pinball. I have very limited experience on it. I'm very, very bad at it. What's up, Mine Commander? Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming in.
Brother Matthew's in the house. What's up, man?
So all I did this weekend is I did some work on some videos. I got a lot of stuff written up on the Colecovision video, which I'm actively working on. I think I get about halfway through the main edit on that. And I'm going to try to push through the rest of that sometime this week or this weekend. So hopefully I can have that out maybe next week. I mostly did it in part to be prepared for the conversation we were going to try to have tonight, because I wanted to know more than just random musings that were in my head. And it was a way to kind of refresh my memory on which ones I kind of had played and which ones I hadn't played. And kind of get a feel for what was out there. Because a lot of this stuff is kind of vague memories, because it was like between 5 and 7 when I had the console. So I was born in 77. My parents got it probably in 82, 83. Probably 83. Because they probably got it when everything was going under. So I was probably 6, right? So and we had it for a short time. My mom loved it, and that was about it. We moved on to like the NES in 85, and that's where most of my gaming memories come from, is NES and up, because that's where I was old enough to really start remembering it better.
What's up, when that came out, I was 10.
So you're old enough. You have been old enough to be able to like actually really remember the console for the most part.
Oh, I do. Oh goodness, because and my dad at the time worked for a toy store, so he was able to get that stuff at a discount, and so he brought home the Colecovision. He brought home Zaxxon. He brought home Ladybug. All those, Cosmic Avenger, Venture, and then I don't know if it was right away, but he brought home the wheel with turbo.
Yes, the steering wheel with turbo. I remember playing Slither, so I must have had the roller controller somehow, but I don't remember the roller controller. Even seeing pictures of it, I go, I don't really remember this, but I remember that game. So how? Because the only way you could get it would be either secondhand if they just sold it at a secondhand store, which was pretty rare back then. Or buying the controller, because it came with the controller.
Galaxy's asking how old you are.
Oh, I'm 46. About to be 47.
Yeah, he's right behind me.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly a spring chicken. I'm just slightly older than some of the earliest consoles, right? So like Atari came out the year I was born. And then I completely missed the Fairchild Channel F that came out in like 78. I never really even saw that one. The Colecovision came out in 82. Television came out in 79. I never had that. Never even saw one of those as a kid. And then the NES came out in 85. So pretty much Colecovision and up. So when everybody else shows an Atari controller as their first controller, I look at a Colecovision controller, which nobody ever puts up. So, ancient.
Yes, I am, Brother Matthew. Yes, I am.
Yeah, pretty much old, ancient. A bit older than me. Seem to remember ColecoVision.
Hang on,
see, some people, I think it depends on how long you had the console, right? Because some people had the console and then they kept it for a very, very long time. Like, if you talk to, like, our buddy Chuck remembers freaking everything about Intellivision because he never stopped playing it. He's always had one, right? We had the ColecoVision for a couple of years, and then we got rid of it, and then we moved into the NES. So I didn't have one for long enough to really solidify a lot of memories.
I had the ColecoVision for a while.
Atari to Nintendo. Yeah.
See, I had the Coleco for a while, and then because that had an Atari 2600 adapter, that made it last a little longer for me. Because I went right from
not as old as some people. Fastback's turning 50. I'm close.
Yeah, but I'm still older. I'm still older than him.
Okay. So I was saying he just got a ColecoVision last year. He got it AV modded and added the Super Game module. Yeah, the Super Game module's kind of a big deal for that one.
Yeah, that reminds me, Sai, I got to get with you because I need to find out where you got that. I emulate it now.
Zombies comment. I wondered what the heck happened to Zombies comment. I was looking at him like, why did that not show?
Dude, as good as Donkey Kong was, Zaxxon was something special because it was that 3D isometric, and it looked
and you could play with the levels on it. That took a long time to get used to, I remember, because when you first started playing Zaxxon, it was kind of like first like playing Mario Brothers. You didn't really understand the different levels that you could fly your ship at. You were just assuming I shoot, I hit whatever's in front of me. Well, that's not how Zaxxon worked.
No.
And so you would get killed by stuff on the ground when you thought you shot it because you were too high up in the air to actually be able to hit it.
Yep.
Or you would slam into a wall because you weren't paying attention to what level you were at, and you hit the wall because you were too low or you were too high.
Yep.
Right? So it was kind of a funky game to get used to. It was a really cool game. And honestly, that was one of the ones I went back and looked at, I want to say about a year ago, and played a little bit. And I'm like, honestly, this still holds up. It's so close to the NES, like early NES, in graphical fidelity, that it kind of holds up. The main thing that holds it back is like, a lot of those early consoles, one of the things they couldn't do very well was music, right? So you'd almost most of those consoles didn't have any kind of like music track to go with them. A lot of that stuff didn't come in until like the NES. So like the 5200 didn't have it, the 7800 really didn't have it. Most of the Intellivision games didn't have it. I think Smurfs did. I think it hummed the Smurfs thing.
Smurfs had it.
I think Venture had some music.
Venture had music.
Yeah, but a lot of the games didn't have it. Like they didn't want to spend the space on it. Silicon was really expensive, so a lot of that stuff just didn't happen. But to jump way back, do you know what Coleco actually started as?
Yes, a leather company.
Yeah. Connecticut Leather Company.
Connecticut Leather Company.
Which is actually how Coleco came about. CO for Connecticut, LE for leather, and CO for company. You take all those together and you put it together and you've got Coleco. They
also, by the way, fun fact, they were the producer of the Cabbage Patch Kids.
They were. I was going to get into that later because that's much later in their lifespan.
Sorry. I mean to jump the shark.
Does Coleco have a big homebrew? I do not know. To be honest, I haven't really. I would imagine
I don't know if
it's something.
Yeah, I don't know if it's got a big homebrew scene, but I know that they have done some things like fixing Donkey Kong, and we'll talk about that when we get to Donkey Kong because there was some fixing to do with it.
Yeah, Smurfs actually had the theme music. It was the one theme that repeated over and over again.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's one of the early things that they got into, Scepter. But the first things that they did is they went from. We'll go real quick through this because I go deeper into this in the video I'm going to launch. But they had a weird history. They went from leather goods to rubber boots in World War II to being the largest manufacturer of inflatable pools and actually pools in general. And pool accessories like toys and stuff. into snowmobiles.
Yep.
Which is like their worst idea ever because they did it. The first year they jumped into it, they had record low snowfall across the entire states. That was like the worst idea ever.
So, but they did.
And then eventually they started getting into like handheld games. The first thing they did was a Pong clone because everybody did a Pong clone.
The Coleco Telstar. I had one.
I had one. Telstar. And that used the General Electric's chip that was basically Pong on a chip. And Atari couldn't do anything about it because Atari kind of ripped that game off from like Tennis, which was the Magnavox Odyssey game. And it was also kind of a ripoff of Tennis for Two and a couple other things. So it was kind of a ripping off a ripoff in the first place. So there wasn't anything Atari could really legally do about it. And the industry was so new, most people didn't know what to do with it in the first place. So a lot of the litigation was kind of weird because it was just happening. And it was moving so fast that the government didn't know what to do with it. They still don't. Let's be fair. Well, the government still doesn't know what to do with this industry, period.
And let's hope they don't figure it out. I'm just saying.
China's trying. We may do a side tangent to that because that's going to affect a lot of stuff. But that's more modern news.
So one of the and Big Block brings it up. Those handhelds were so good, even though they were so primitive. So the electronic quarterback with the little dashes as your players.
Yeah, the little LED screen with the LED dots.
But I had a 2-player baseball game, and I'll never forget this thing. It basically was dots on an overlay. And the back of it, or the top of it, there's the electronic quarterback. Can you find the baseball, the 2-player head-to-head baseball?
I don't know about the baseball, but I did find a 2-player handheld. I found this one.
So there was that. That was their upgraded head-to-head football game, which was really good.
I have no idea why you're behind this thing. You're supposed to be in front of it, but that's weird. Okay.
Let me see if I can find. Hang on. Let me see if I can find the head-to-head baseball. Here it is.
I mean, they all basically looked very similar, except for baseball would have like a different shape to it, I would imagine.
So yes, and there were two styles of it. This was
Where did you shoot the link, or are you trying to show it?
Let me see where I can.
Okay.
Where's the best place to put that link?
Probably Discord. Then I can just share the display.
Okay. Yeah, let me Discord it to you.
Yeah.
There were two styles of this. And I had the other one was the other one. The other one was Mattel Electronics. So Mattel had one.
Yeah, Mattel had one, and then Colecovision had one. Matter of fact, there probably won't be any audio to it, but I do actually have a. Let me see if I can find it. I had a commercial. No, that's a different clip. I had a few commercial clips that did a commercial for that, and one of them had that, which I thought was kind of cool. Back up here a little bit while you send that link. There we go. This may be a little janky as I juggle things because I don't have things quite organized to be able to do things, and I don't have a whole lot of hotkeys.
Sure.
So it's me scrolling through and finding the window I need.
You know, it's the.
Yeah, this is one of the commercials for
the
Mattel one versus.
Oh my goodness. Is that? Hold on. You know who? That's Oh, the heck is his name? He's a movie actor. Not him.
Nye Hooligan.
Tell guy.
What's up, Area? Sorry, you're a little buried behind my screen display. Sorry.
Hey, Area, what's going on? It's Amiga. Not tonight, brother. Not tonight.
Oh, why am I doing that? Oh, where is it? There we go. Okay, there we go. Remove that one.
Now I gotta find the one that I had.
Yeah, because I only had two of those. And here's the Pong unit, by the way, for those of you guys that haven't seen it. You just plug this into your TV, and then you could basically just play Pong with each one of these paddles on either side. And they had another one that they did a little bit later on. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here's their multi-cart one, which I thought was actually really cool that I didn't realize was there.
Yep. Wait a minute, it's behind the All-Star.
No, I'm hiding it.
There you go. That's the one I had.
I organized this all really quickly, so it's a little jank.
All good. All good. So that's the one I had.
Yeah, so the little triangle things here on the upper left side, those are extra carts. So technically, they had a cartridge system in like the 1970s. It just wasn't a really well-known like console. So you had like different. You could do a light gun, you could do the steering wheel thing, etc., or you could do Pong on it. And you had different cartridges that did the different games. So you had the programmable thing, so you could plug them in and out. So you had a couple games. So this was technically their first game console, realistically, to be technical.
Right. Not that this is Coleco, but to show you their competition, this is the one. This is the baseball
game.
What's
up, FP?
FP, what's going on, man? Everybody's rolling in tonight. Let's go. That's the one that I had.
Let me pull this up real quick.
Now it's not Coleco, but.
Yeah, let me put this in with my other stuff in here. Hold on one second. Put this somewhere where I can find it again. Because it'll be easier if I can zoom in on it.
Hey, that's what I wore for Halloween. I just caught that scepter.
Nice. Sorry, guys. I'm not catching as much stuff as I would normally because I'm trying to get some of these things on screen. Okay, this might look a little out of place here, but we're going to show this on the screen as soon as I can find it. Oh, I've definitely got to reorganize this. It's going to drive me crazy. There we go.
See, that's the one I had.
So that's the one that Mike had.
Yep. And there's a piece that came out of the top of it, and that's how your second player played. So funny enough, though, all of those buttons were for pitching, and at the bottom, that one button was for batting. That's all you had.
See, this design reminds me of the Punch-Out handheld.
Mm-hmm.
The Game & Watch one, because they had those two little disc things, right?
Yep.
And they let you control the different boxes, so you could go head-to-head on that one, too. And it opened up, you pulled those out. They had their little cable attached to it. This reminds me a lot of that. And Scepter, yeah, there were ROMs on those cards. Yeah, the Telstar had all 3 bays on like one unit. Had to jump to YouTube. Those old Coleco handhelds are great. Yeah, a lot of these old handhelds are really cool for what they were. They're hard for anybody to understand them now, but you guys have to remember, like LED calculators were just starting to get affordable, right? Like the old ones, not even the solar ones. I'm talking about the battery-powered ones with just the little rig hashes on them. So that was kind of a new technology, and it had just gotten cheap enough that you could do more with it than just, and advanced enough that you could do more with it than just calculators. So everybody started making handhelds with them, right? So all these handhelds that we're showing you, these early handhelds, this is kind of what got Coleco into and moving inside the gaming space, right? Now, the next big thing that they really pushed into, that was a really big hit at the time, and I'll probably try to bump up some footage of this as well, are these little things. Now, these are the handheld mini arcades, right? And to show you kind of how these things worked, because these things were kind of little jank in and of themselves, because while they were the closest thing you had to the arcade and a handheld at the time, they were still pretty primitive, right? But they were way, way, way ahead of anything else that you could get that would go on the desktop or handheld. You'd have to have something on the console in order to do anything better or go to the arcade, right? So to show you guys some of this footage, I think this is the one that I'm looking for right here. Yeah, this is it. You guys are going to like this. So this is how you play Pac-Man on this thing.
I would like to point out that for the most part, with some little bits of here and there, that map is nearly accurate.
Yeah, but the map doesn't really change. The map is just the map. As far as I know, the map layout doesn't change. You have the one map.
Correct.
And
what Pac-Man didn't.
Right. And the way you can tell when you can eat the ghost and when you can't eat the ghost, because those things with the two little pellets and the Pac-Man looking thing are the ghosts, is when he grabs a power pellet, the little mouth thing for Pac-Man goes away. And that lets you know that now you can eat them.
Yeah, when they look like this.
Yeah, that took me a minute. Because I was watching it going, how do you know? Like, how do you know? But honestly, this kind of stuff is really cool. The little mini handhelds, they revisited these not that long ago.
Yeah, we have one. We have one of the newer ones.
See, Matthew says he's got the Frogger one. His doesn't work, though.
I had Frogger. I had Pac-Man. I had Galaxian. Those are the 3 that I had.
What's up, Delete?
Give me a second. I'll go get the one that we've got now.
Okay. Scepter wants it. He's like, send it to me. I must have hid Mike's tag. What did I do? There we go. I went and hit his tag for some reason. I am not betting 1,000 on this tonight. I made that there so I don't do anything else with it. Yeah, the DK one is very popular. And that was probably one of their biggest ones, quite frankly, was the DK one.
I can't remember if I had that one. So I can't tell.
Delete. They're vulnerable when they're black. Very sus.
Yeah, I don't think this is a Coleco one. And it's funny because you can mount this on the wall. But this is the current handheld.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, it looks a little bit more like an actual arcade unit.
Yeah, but let's see if I can see if the I might need batteries.
The battery's dead.
Yeah, but it actually does a pretty decent job of making the sounds and the opening music. But it's also got you could actually mount it on the wall and play it.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
I could put it here, and I could just sit here and play it like this if I wanted to.
That's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
Kind of like that. I don't think I have a video of the DK one. I grabbed some footage of like one. You know what? I might actually. Let me look. Because I know I found something on that. Hold on. I will try to pull that up. Yeah, I do have something.
You can emulate it, by the way.
The DK one is actually really neat.
Cyrus, I can see the YouTube chat, Cyrus. This is Mullis, I will send you $5 if you mount that on the wall and play it.
Mogwai Sharply done with DK.
Layout is now only Mike.
Let me go back
that's right. It's only me. Oh, this is,
let me go back to the stream view, and I'll show you some footage of this.
Yeah, there it is.
This is.
I did have that one. I did have that
Donkey Kong one. Honestly, I think this looks really good.
I do too.
For an LED screen design, I mean, keep in mind this thing looks a little bit like something out of Tron. You know, it just looks funky to me. It looks like something out of like some other movie, some other sci-fi movie instead of Donkey Kong. But I mean, for what you could get at this things for, I mean, these things were like sub $50. I think they were like $20 to $30.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a pretty inexpensive unit that's for the. If I gotten this on a Nintendo Game & Watch, I would have been super happy with it, quite frankly. Just because I think it looks cool. I think it actually might look a little bit better than the ones I've seen on the Game & Watch series, quite frankly. Just because the colors and stuff match, it's not the black and white on the painted on background. Everything kind of lights up. I think it looks really nice.
No, I think it does too.
So those were some of their earliest things that they were really messing with when they were in that. Honestly, I want to say the Pac-Man one sold 1.5 million units in like 6 months. That one alone sold that many, and then Donkey Kong, Galaxian, and I want to say Frogger also sold like another 1.5. So it was like 3 million units on those alone before they even launched a major console. The siren sound of the Pleekman, Coleco Pac-Man became kind of annoying. Matthews wants it because, hey, you know what? I love Gremlins. I'll take stuff that was in Gremlins. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. Oh, Matthews is over in... I see him. Okay.
Screens are way better than the Tiger. Yeah, they absolutely are.
Oh, they absolutely
The LED ones are way, 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 way better than the Tiger stuff.
No, they very much were.
Yeah, I think you can actually download ROMs for them and emulate them, but they're probably up there too on the Internet Arcade. Yeah.
Yes, you can. And you can play them because they were compatible. They were you could play them through MAME.
See, Matthew says it looks better in DK on the 2600, and that's honestly, it's not hard. DK on the 2600 was not all that great.
Okay, no, but there was a whole story behind that. See,
it was. We'll go ahead and get into that because after they did all this, they started to launch their console, and what they wanted to launch their console with was Donkey Kong, right? They wanted to hit big. They wanted to come in and stick it to Atari and stick it to Intellivision that had been doing their own basically console war kind of back and forth, right? Arguing who had the best graphics, who had the most games, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And Intellivision kind of had a secret weapon when they came out. They threw a really high-end processor in theirs and 1K of memory, which doesn't sound like anything, but when you're talking like 128 bytes, not even a K, of memory in most consoles, it was a big jump. Effectively, they built a computer into a console, is what they did when they launched this thing. And so they had a verbal agreement with Atari to get exclusive rights to Donkey Kong. And then CES happens, and Atari goes, well, we're going to give it to Atari. So Colecovision kind of goes in a bit of a tizzy and goes and talks to, is it Tamauchi who was running at the time? I want to say that's it.
I gotta go back and watch my video. Hang on. Let me see, because I kind of touched on this at the beginning. Let me just look it up. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through it just to see if I'm remembering.
Because you're right. There was it was almost like Atari had the rug kind of pulled out under them on that.
Kind of. I mean, ColecoVision had already made a deal for it, but they didn't have anything in writing. And then Nintendo went and made another deal with Atari. So,
so
both companies kind of got hosed.
Well, so yes and no. So here's how weird this became.
Yamauchi.
Yeah. Here's how weird this became. And this is how Atari and later OceanSoft got around
this stuff from Gremlins, including the Gremlin.
Because where Coleco got, I wouldn't say short-sighted. Nobody could have seen this in 82. Coleco got the rights to Donkey Kong on cartridge.
Correct.
Atari Soft got around that by producing it for the computers. So they produced it for the Atari computer, the Commodore 64, the Amstrad, and they did not do the ZX Spectrum version. So they did the Atari, they did Commodore, they did Amstrad, and that's how they got around. And they eventually did a PC version, which was horrible. That's how they got around it. And an Apple II version. And then OceanSoft came in and they bought the rights for a computer version, and then they put out a Commodore version and a Spectrum ZX version. And it's kind of very bizarre in that the Coleco and Atari versions and the Nintendo version for the NES were all gimped in one way or another, whereas Ocean always brought the full arcade translation to the game. So most people don't know this unless you played the arcade. There are 4 stages in Donkey Kong.
Yeah, most of the console versions had to have at least one stage removed.
Yes, and it was always the same stage. It was stage number 3. So everybody usually saw stage 1, which was the girders, that one. Stage 2 with the up down, pretty much the vertical level. He's not eating
constantly, Matthews. That's the difference.
I'm already eating. I've already done. No, I'm using Voice Meter Banana, and it's a lot of help with my microphone. And the third stage, which is the one with the elevators, and on the ColecoVision they didn't have it, but everyone else had the bouncing whatever those were. Whereas the ColecoVision just had more enemies. Ocean, and most of those, even the NES, didn't have all the animations where, Donkey Kong would climb up the ladder with Pauline after Jumpman, Mario made his way, to the top. A lot of those things didn't, and in fact, the ColecoVision didn't have any of the animations. Even after he got all the girders to make Donkey Kong fall down, Donkey Kong never fell down. It just went back to the first stage.
Well, yeah, they cut out the ColecoVision cut out pretty much all those animations. Like you get to the top, and he wouldn't climb up, he wouldn't fall down.
Nope,
it would just result to the next stage. And the Atari one, I think, did that too. I don't think it ever had that animation.
The Atari one only had 2 stages. It only had the first 2 stages, and it just went back and forth between them. Which one was the diarrhea green Donkey Kong? That was the Intellivision version.
Yeah, Yeah, no, the Intellivision kind of got hosed on the entire thing.
Well, yes, it did. And there's a so the theory was that they were all made by Coleco.
Yeah, I think I just downloaded that. Actually, I've been meaning to mess with it.
Will definitely, because I love what it does for me. So Coleco put all three of those versions out, and the conspiracy theory at the time was they weren't going to make a version for either of these two other systems that were better than their flagship version, which is the ColecoVision version.
Right.
So the Intellivision, in fact, and I said this in my video, to me, the Atari 2600 version was actually better than the ColecoVision version, even with the way the 2600 version rolled out, because of the green Donkey Kong and the nasty sound, and it was, yeah, exactly.
So it just cracks me up, man. That's great.
It was only a couple of years ago. I'm still traumatized. It's like a drive in the Poconos, isn't it, Si?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of footage of it. I think even Chuck, I don't think likes playing it that much.
You want to?
Like he plays it, but it's not one of the games he goes to on the Intellivision.
I mean, do you want to? I mean, you could pick it either on Rumble or on YouTube. Do you want to bring the video up and people can see it?
Yeah, I don't know where it would be on Rumble, but I can find it on YouTube.
Oh, I can find it on Rumble. It's on my channel.
Oh, that's right. You've got it on your channel. Here's like a 1 minute clip. Oh my god, this thing's so horrendous looking. Hold on. Forward a little bit. I can't even stand the sounds on most of the Intellivision games.
Oh, the sound on this was horrendous.
The sound on a lot of Intellivision games is kind of bad. I know they had a better sound chip than that, but a lot of the games it felt like they kind of skimped on sound. This whole thing just looks awful.
It was absolutely awful.
Like Donkey Kong with his hands closed just looks like some sort of amorphous blob mouth thing.
Yep. And like Pauline is the same color.
Yeah, as whatever stage.
As whatever the background is.
Hey Camaro, how you doing, man?
Hey Camaro, and
the swamp thing.
Yeah, and Jumpman looks like
DK sucked.
Jumpman looks like Fix-It Felix.
A little bit. Yeah, he does
from
a little
Wreck-It
bit.
Ralph.
Yeah, that might be. Well, I know I know Fix-It Felix had to be influenced by Mario. Had to be.
No, I know, but this actually, he looked like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was.
It's a mess. It's absolutely a mess. So
Kong looks like a frog.
There's Donkey Kong on the Intellivision, of all things. And so to give you guys kind of a comparison of the difference on these, I've got a clip here of Donkey Kong for the actual Intellivision. I'm sorry, for the ColecoVision. Let's go back to screen view here. This is what it looked like on the Intellivision. Keep in mind.
On the ColecoVision.
Keep in mind. On the ColecoVision. Keep in mind, the Intellivision is only like, it's 3 years behind at this point because it came out in '79.
There is no reason why it. And in fact,
it could have looked way better than it did.
Well, because somebody homebrew fixed it. There is an Intellivision version of this game out there now that was fixed that looks amazing.
So yeah, this was like it for the time. Let me see if I can find the other one real quick.
Well, check your Discord. Because it's that video's got every version, including the NES and the Spectrum and all those.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to the Discord.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, there was one thing about the ColecoVision version that at the time nobody cared about. But if you go back and you look at it now, it's very interesting. In the arcade, Donkey Kong's monitor was Tate mode. So they turned the monitor on its side, so you got this long screen, and that's how you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 girders. The ColecoVision was built for televisions that were 4x3. So they cut an entire girder out, which is why Donkey Kong is on the right-hand side and not on the left-hand side, and there's one less girder in that level. Same thing in the second level. There's one less girder in that level.
Okay, that's the Atari one. I'm looking for the homebrew one on your video here. I see the.
I don't have the homebrew. I don't have the homebrew on there.
Okay, that's what I was looking for, was the homebrew. Okay. So I see the others on there.
I'll tell you, until Ocean came along, Atari Soft did a very good job of bringing it to computers. Because I had it on the Atari computer. I had it on my Atari 800, and it was very impressive.
Oh my god, this is marked so badly. I'm having trouble finding that version.
Which one?
The original Donkey Kong on the television. Oh, wait. I think I found it on Size Channel.
Let me see. I can't remember if on my YouTube channel I had it sectioned out by.
This is it. Yeah, I found it on Size Channel. We're just going to show that one.
Okay.
There we go. So yeah, this is the homebrew version.
Yeah. Now he's still green, and Pauline is still the same color as the background. But look how smooth that is, and Mario looks like Mario or Jumpman.
Mario actually looks like Mario. This is much closer to what it should have been.
And I believe the animations are in it. Watch.
Yeah, there's the animation.
Yeah.
Sorry, trying to catch up on chat.
Yeah, I mean this was. I mean, look how smooth it is.
Yeah, no, this runs way better.
And I actually don't think I've seen an Intellivision game that smooth, period.
Well, you got to remember, too, this is like years and years and years after when the Intellivision was a big console. And, again, memory space and all that stuff, they were trying to hit a price point. So a lot of what they could do with it was limited, not necessarily by the console, but one, by development time, and two, by the amount of memory that they were willing to put on the cart because it was so expensive, right? Yep. So most of the games on the early, especially on the early consoles, never hit the full potential of the console. So years later in the homebrew scene, you're seeing things like Castlevania hit the Intellivision, stuff like that. Things that they never would have pulled off back in the day, but the console was capable of doing a pretty solid job on. So in retrospect, the consoles were much, much more powerful than anybody ever really realized they were. They're still primitive by today's standards, but I mean, what isn't? I mean, you look at like The Last of Us 1 and 2 and stuff like that, and you're effectively looking at like a movie you're playing, you know? So thank you, Cy, for that footage, by the way. I'm glad that was there. But that looks infinitely better. Like, way better.
Oh, absolutely did. Oh.
And so check out those 16-bit graphics.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you.
It was, those were the games that, not on the Intellivision, but those were the games that defined the ColecoVision. And, you had that. You had Zaxxon. You had Venture and Cosmic Avenger. You had, and Donkey Kong Jr. would be an even more arcade port, like exact port once that came out.
I'm sorry, we were talking about defining the ColecoVision.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of probably the best early shoot 'em ups.
I would absolutely agree.
And this is Time Pilot for the ColecoVision, for these of you guys who don't know. This had you going through various different time periods in history, and you would fight increasingly difficult planes from more modern eras of time. And then when you finished, you get a set of wings and loop back around again. And things would obviously speed up and get harder, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the blimp on that one was like your boss that you would have to defeat to be able to get out of that time zone to go to the next time zone. And each time zone had a boss like that.
Yep. And until,
Night Fast back. Thanks for popping in, man. I'm still getting used to my new camera position. I keep looking up and everywhere else except for the camera. I feel like I'm Stevie Wonder half the time.
You just need the glasses. Until Thunder Force came out on the Genesis, this was one of the only games I remember that let you go in, full 360 degrees like that. Now, obviously, you had games like Asteroids where you could spin around, but you were confined. But you were confined to a single screen.
Right, and most things were coming at you anyway. So the reason to turn around and move was just to reposition yourself. Yeah.
Right. And if you went to the top of the screen, you ended up coming in from the bottom. Time Pilot did not do that. Time Pilot was you could fly as far as you want.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that Intellivision did they did a couple of things that were kind of weird, right? So when they launched their console, they were really, really, really big into doing like attachment modules and controllers. So to give you guys kind of an idea, here's sort of a sampling because there's a lot of the modules I don't have pictures of right now because I'm still kind of working on things. But if we go back to the screen view here, there's a couple of things they had. They had this roller controller that came with its own packed-in game.
And you see hold on, go back to that. Back to that, because you also see the little button thingies on the side that you pressed in to press the side buttons.
Yeah.
that was wild.
Yeah. And the controller itself, this is back in that era where they were using like these crazy funky controllers, right? So this is a basic Intellivision controller. My understanding is they have more of an NES style controller, which I don't have a picture of right now. But this is the standard controller that came with the Intellivision, and this thing is just funky.
But I tell you,
the 5200 had this. The Intellivision had this, but the Intellivision had a disc, as opposed to like the Intellivision
disc was on the bottom, and the buttons on the side were horrendous. They did a really solid job with this controller, and they were detachable.
Honestly, I feel like having a number pad or something like that on a controller today, a touchpad honestly wouldn't be a bad idea. I keep waiting for them to expand on what's already been done with mobile games and use the controllers that have those clips for your phone and let you use your phone with your console for like a second display for various different things. I just expect that to happen at some point. There's no reason it can't. Yes, the roller controller was actually for Slither. So if we go back to the roller controller here, and then I can show you guys, this trackball in the center, which basically looks like a cue ball, was used to control a game called Slither, which I do have some footage of. Let me pull that up real quick. So this is Slither. And what differentiated Slither the most was the fact that not only could you shoot up like you could in Centipede, because this basically kind of emulates Centipede, you could also turn and aim down. So you could aim behind you, which is something that Centipede would never let you do.
No.
And they made you use it here because you had to be able to hit these things, and they would come at you from weird angles. Now Centipede, you were pretty much toast if anything ever got to the bottom of the screen. So this gave you more options. But yeah, this you can even watching the guy move on the screen, you could see it's using basically like a trackball style controller, just because of how floaty it is.
I remember War Games used this controller too.
Yeah, there were a couple of games that used this controller, but it was only
Centipede
like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, Centipede was one, War Games was another, and Victory was another.
Yeah. And then the one that he's talking about, that Big Block's talking about, he didn't have the roller controller. He had
the Super Action controller. Yep.
This thing, I didn't even know this thing existed. I'll be honest, I didn't even know this was a thing.
Was it. This was wild, this thing.
I've got one picture on here, but if you guys look at the top, there's like 4 buttons where you would normally hold it in the grip, and then the full D-pad on the top, and an arcade stick on the top of this thing as well, which is just bizarre for a controller to have this many buttons. Even today, this seems bizarre.
And look at the bottom. Look at the bottom of it. It had a dial that you could use to go left and right.
Yeah.
With.
So it's just a funky controller. And the other one he's talking about with the steering wheel, and I actually had this one as well.
I had the steering wheel with turbo.
I think I had didn't I not put a picture in here of this? I guess I didn't. I'll just pull it up. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. No, I think I've got a better picture.
If not, I got one for you.
No, I've got one here. It's not. There it is. I pulled up underneath the other one. There we go. There we go. Yeah. There's the steering wheel controller. Now, this thing was kind of neat, and one of the reasons I think this thing's kind of cool is not because I had it. That was one reason. But it actually had a steering wheel at a time where most consoles didn't have a steering wheel on their console. Atari had one that used kind of paddle controllers that they called a racing controller that didn't have the limiter that their original paddles had, so they could do 360, not 180. This thing had the actual steering wheel, and then this is like the brake pedal that you would plug in and put on the bottom. And then you could put your Intellivision controller in that same slot and use it as a gear shift.
Gear shift, yep.
Which was
I just sent
really
you a picture of that.
However, the downside to this thing is it used like 4 C-cell batteries. And I still don't fully understand why it needed 4 C-cell batteries.
I don't know. Well, I don't know either.
I still don't quite understand it. So there's the one that you had. Close that one.
Yep. That's the European version, by the way.
Yeah, the CBS Colecovision. Yeah, I've saw that in a couple of the ads. Yeah, and you'll notice it's labeled expansion module number 2, because the very first expansion module lets you play Atari 2600 games, which really did not make Atari happy. They were sort of pissed and tried to sue them.
And they couldn't, because there was nothing they could do.
No, there was absolutely nothing they could do.
There was no reverse engineering. There was no...
They did it with all off-the-shelf parts.
Yep.
So here's Rocky. Galaxy sent me a link to Rocky here.
Rocky. Was so good.
Honestly, this looks pretty good. I never had this one. This looks solid.
It really is.
That's actually a really good-looking game. I'm actually kind of impressed with that. That looks way better than anything Atari or Intellivision was doing at the time. And Intellivision didn't have some... They had some solid-looking boxing games.
Yeah, but not this one.
No, this looks way better. You can shuffle in and out of the screen. Even some later boxing games don't let you do that. Yep. You can't move around the ring like that.
And you can see the ref.
Yeah, you can see the ref kind of moving around and keeping an eye on everything. That's fantastic. Even the counting and how he gets up is pretty dope. They did a really good job on that one. So they had all these modules and controllers and everything coming out. Gotta remember, they launched in 82. By the time they had all this stuff out, it was 1983. 1983 was a year for the United States. Everything went downhill.
That's when they tried one last ditch effort.
The Coleco.
In 85, in 83.
The Coleco Atom.
Atom.
This is where Atari got especially pissed because they were supposed to have exclusive rights to computer versions of Donkey Kong. And since you could plug your ColecoVision into the Atom module, which basically made it a full-fledged PC with keyboard, tape drive, etc. So this thing actually started out as, what was it originally called? Axion or something like that. I can't remember. It was a joint project between Route Bear and RCA with ColecoVision that were going to make this. It was going to be a tape drive expansion. What it was called. So you could save your progress, you could save your high scores, you could reload from them all through a tape drive. That got scrapped and retooled into the Atom, right? Which put them straight into the computer market, which was kind of their last Hail Mary to kind of keep their electronics division afloat. Right?
There you go.
There we go. There's the Atom. Go ahead and show that. So this is the Atom. So you just plugged your ColecoVision straight into it, and then you can play Donkey Kong on your PC.
Yep. And it had a ColecoVision controller. It was just white.
Hold on.
What's up, Sam?
Scrambles. Grounded from her phone. She was watching YouTube on her Wii U.
Scrambles up on Rumble. Let's go.
That's great.
Watching YouTube on her Wii U.
That's great. I don't know that Coleco's still in business. They actually went out of the video game market shortly after the Atom. And honestly, I found an advertisement that shocked me. When they released the Atom, you could buy the Atom for about, I want to say $700 or so. And the problem with the Atom is, for the price of the Atom attachment for your Coleco, you could buy a Commodore 64 and a Coleco. And a ColecoVision. Both. For the cost of the Atom attachment for your ColecoVision. So you could have a dedicated computer and a dedicated console for what it would cost you to make this hybrid device. So it didn't sell really great. As a result, it also didn't help that they were offering to give you a $500 scholarship for your kid when you bought an Atom. So not only was the unit about $800, they were giving you $500 back by the end of it for college tuition. And I'm like, wait, I'm confused. How are you doing this? It just didn't make a lot of sense.
So to answer your question.
Yeah, about $800 in 80s money.
Yeah, exactly. So to answer your question, Coleco themselves, the company that we know from the ColecoVision itself, went out in like 89. But the brand has been shuffled about.
Yes. With a couple of failed attempts and a bunch of flashbacks and things like that.
Flashbacks, the Chameleon, the Coleco Sonic.
Well, the Chameleon never actually made it out. That was a complete hoax. And then...
No, it wasn't a hoax. It was just it never made it past prototype.
Well, okay, there's a whole shady story behind that whole thing and when everybody pulled out on it, because it was there was I didn't even cover it in my video because it didn't seem like I didn't really want to go down that route.
It's right. It's just, yeah, they never got a prototype out, and then Coleco pulled out. Coleco also attempted, I'll never forget this, when Jacob was younger, Coleco attempted to put on an expo in 2018, 2017. I can't remember when it was. I remember because it was somewhere in Jersey, and I was excited. Coleco Expo? Heck yes, I'm going to that. And Jacob and I drove 3 hours up to Jersey to this place.
Hold on 1 second before you finish that. Galaxy, you're actually really close on that estimate, by the way. I just did a calculation on that. It's $2,463.82. Talk about being close.
That is funny.
Super close.
That is funny.
Go ahead. Sorry, I just had to say that because he was so close.
It's okay. Let me see if I can look this thing up. So
yeah, Citra's like, no, it was a hoax. It was a total sham. They they faked a prototype, and that's everything that I had dug up too. Is that the prototype was basically like an emulator inside a Atari Jaguar case.
Yeah, everybody used the Atari Jaguar form factor back then. Give me a second. I'm looking for this.
It was a damn good ballpark estimate, though, Galaxy. You were almost directly on, man.
Okay. I don't even know how to. So, in 2017, I don't know if you can. I don't know if you'd be able to bring this up or not. I got snookered by this. Hold on here. In 2017,
what
Coleco.
Is this?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I still have pictures.
I'm just looking at the. Oh,
yeah.
I'm just looking at the screen, and immediately with a girl on it, I'm like, okay, this seems shady as hell.
It was. Oh, it was. So this was they were bringing back, and in fact, they were doing this in conjunction with, bringing out the what was that? Not Rick Dangerous. What's the Sydney? What is that? Sydney something or other, some game, some retro style game. And so this expo was going to be awesome. They were going to have a whole like arcade area set up and vendors.
What's up, Henry? Thanks for popping by, man.
And the whole Sydney Hunter, thank you. And the whole 9 yards. It was going to be this whole thing. And my son and I drove up there to Jersey to attend this thing. They were going to have like, people there. I forgot who was going to be there, but they were going to have
Sydney Hunters, what Scepter says.
They were going to have some developers there and some celebrities there. They had some celebrity from a Nickelodeon show that was signing autographs that nobody stood in line for. We were there the entire day, and there must have been 20 people at this thing, total.
I'm not surprised. Coleco was such a short-lived console. I mean, the console itself only ran until like 83, maybe early 84, and then Adam kind of limped it along till close to 85.
I am trying to find pictures that I took. I'm trying to find the pictures I took. It was here we go. I got pictures. Is there a way for me to share my screen? Share a screen with others. Here we go. Yes, share a screen with others. Here, let's see if we can.
Okay, let me see if I can get this added. This might take a little finagling. You know, I have an idea on how to do this.
All right. Oh, do I have to log into my? I do. Hang on a second. I gotta. Give me a second. I need to sign into my OneDrive.
Okay.
Thank you, Microsoft, for forcing me to log into OneDrive once a day.
Let me know when you're ready, and I'll flip back over to it. God, I'm kind of like all over the board. I'm clicking on all sorts of scenes and stuff I don't need to click on. Nothing but professionalism for my streams, guys. And Mike disappears.
No, hang on. I had to go get my phone because I have to MFA into my OneDrive in order to just look at pictures. Thank you, Microsoft.
Oh, the Microsoft 365 stuff drives me crazy. I hate that stuff.
Stay away from New Outlook. Stay away from the New Outlook.
I have no choice. My office already went to it. It sucks.
Oh, it is horrible. All right, let's see.
Pushing 40. Oh, God. You guys are young.
Here we go. All right.
You in?
I'm in.
Okay. Here we go.
So keep in mind, my son was, at the time... Here, I'm launching pictures here.
Yeah, I'm trying to make some of these a little bit bigger, so when you...
Well, no. I'm actually gonna launch these pictures.
Thank you, big boy. I didn't have a Colecovision shirt to put on tonight, but I wanted a more retro shirt.
So this was the Cindy Hunter guy outside the expo.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And when we walked up,
look at that derpy
looking around,
side.
and I'm going, why are we the... First off, I said, how did we get such a good parking spot? That's number one. That's the first indicator something was wrong.
There's problem one.
There's problem one. Problem two was, where is everybody? So they had these little TVs set up, and to his credit, Jacob got to play some stuff he's never seen before. He would later parlay this into, I took him to too many games 2 years later, and he sat down and he beat, I swear to God, on my honor, he beat Oregon Trail on an Apple II while I was walking around buying things. I kid you not. He was like, he died 3 or 4 times and from dysentery.
I'm showing everything but your screens. I try to figure out where that echo's coming from. Now there's no audio. All right, I'm going to have to fix that. There we go. So I get like triple reverb. Jesus. Okay.
There was this dude.
Why is somebody dressed like
that? You see all the... I can't remember what he was dressed as, to be honest. So this was the Funcade. Look at the great professional sign they had. And then a copy of Seablade, which I should have bought. So I have a story behind this. I'll just give the cliff notes. This is one of the worst Xbox games ever created. I wrote for my NLGaming.com site way back in the day, I wrote a review so scathing on this game that the head of the development studio wrote me the most profanity-laden, poorly grammared, poorly spelled email back that I'd ever gotten in my life. It was horrendous, but it was a $5 game for a reason. There was Mr. R2D2 there. That was pretty cool. There's Sonic.
What a weird event.
There's my son playing Halo. And then I took video of us there. Let me see if I can find that video, because there was I kind of showed. Can you release
that scathing letter? Can't be as bad as Obi-Wan.
I do not have it anymore. I wish I had printed it and kept it. It was. I laughed, and I wrote him back, and I said, "Well, now that I've deciphered half your email, let me explain why your game is garbage." I mean, it was not a good review. It was not a good review.
I'm not surprised.
But I had taken a video that I showed on on the show we did right after that. One of us
right now while you hunt for that video, I'm going back to our main screen because they're just looking at a blank screen while we're talking. And I'm like,
I honestly may not have it anymore. I took a video of the expo area where all the vendors were.
Yeah, and Vinny, what happened was I was trying to get rid of like the 3-person echo I was getting in my head from Mike while you guys were only hearing one source. Because right now with my setup, I always have an echo from Mike, but I was hearing it like 3 or 4 times. It was just reverbing in my ears while he was showing that screen. So it was giving me a migraine, and I was trying to fix it. So that's why everything looked funky, and that's why he got muted for a little bit.
Oh.
Because I was trying to find the right source to mute.
There was nobody there. The bottom line was there was nobody there. We ended up leaving early. I did end up buying an OG Xbox there for like $30. That was cool. But other than that, it was a complete crap show. The only thing that I got out of it, and I had to pay for this too, was this patch. That's all I got.
And you had to pay for the patch?
And I had to pay for the patch. They should have given me the
entry, and then you had to
patch.
pay for the patch.
They should have given. I tell you what, man. And then after that, you never heard from Coleco again.
This is the question I'm asking myself, Sector. What was the point of the show if you're not going to highlight Coleco and you're going to have every other console and every other mascot in the world in there?
I don't know. I don't know.
I guess it was a general just collectibles convention, but I mean, if you're going to try to bring Coleco back in a big way, that's great. Go ahead. I mean, I'm all for them and then Intellivision and Atari coming in and doing new things.
I think the only thing they tried that they were really doing was trying to advertise Sydney Hunter, because Sydney Hunter was coming out on the Colecovision as a homebrew. Or not a homebrew, but you know what I mean. It was coming. It was actually, there was an actual ColecoVision version. Oh, I found it.
Softer, I think there's been at least a Coleco flashback that was sold for a little while. I don't know about a mini, but there's definitely been a flashback, which is kind of similar.
Hang on. Let me see if it comes up.
Did you get it?
Or excuse for let me see if it loads.
Okay.
It's an older code, but it checks out. No, that's not it. All right, never mind. That wasn't it.
Okay. I was about to say, I was going to flip to the other view,
if
we don't need it, we don't need it.
Yeah, if I find it, I'll let you know. But
okay.
It was just it was such a travesty.
The point of the show was to scam people with the nostalgia. It sounds like, yeah.
Honestly, I thoroughly believe that. I thoroughly believe that that's what they were trying to do. I mean, they had this. I'm telling you, they had this girl there that was there to sign autographs. And
I think that was in the link you sent me. Hold on. They showed a quick picture of somebody there real quick. Let me see if I can find it. I think they even said the name, but I have like no idea who the hell she is.
Nobody knew who she was, and nobody got her autograph. She sat there, and she looked miserable the whole time she was there.
This girl? The one on the right?
No. Nope.
Okay. Because I was thinking her, because they brought her out specifically.
Hold on. Sophie Reynolds was... Go to the end of that video, because it shows a poster.
Oh, I think that was the same girl. Yeah, here's the poster. Hold on.
Yes. Yeah. Sophie Reynolds.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
I had no idea either.
I'm at a loss. I don't know who that is.
This was I was so angry. We drove 3 hours to this thing. I was pissed.
I says he feels bad for Mike Kennedy. He was completely out of his league and lost, ruined his reputation, made a video of him back then and compared him to George Costanza. Oh my God. I appreciate you guys sticking with us tonight, by the way. It's been like a month since I used this setup, and so I am rusty.
That's right. Brett Weiss was at this thing selling his book.
Brett's everywhere trying to sell his books.
I do remember that.
I tried following his channel for a little while, and I just couldn't engage with his the pace and the tone he speaks in. I have trouble engaging with. There's nothing actually wrong with his content. It's all fine. I just have trouble like staying engaged.
Oh, this dude had pictures. He probably got us in frame at some point.
Okay, Galaxy's saying she'd mostly been in Disney projects. I have no idea why she would be at a Coleco convention then. That makes no sense.
Nobody knows.
That's super weird.
Yeah. No, nobody knows. It was.
I got nothing. I got nothing for that. That's super funky. That's bizarre.
It was. Hang on, because I should you know what?
Because of the Gamer's Guide show that Scepter mentioned. Okay, that's probably.
Oh, right, the Gamer's Guide to just about everything. I think was the. So hold on. Yet Tyler Bushnell was supposed to be there. Now I remember. Here, hold on.
Nolan's
kid. You don't have to use the. Yeah, I'm not sure if he actually showed up.
I don't think anybody would want to see him in the first place. He didn't really have a very good run with Atari when he owned it.
Yeah. Go to. Hold on. Don't use that link. Hold on. Don't use that link. Let me do one with a.
I was like, Tyler wasn't like the most well-regarded guy, if I recall, in Atari history. I mean, he took over after Nolan was kind of done because he was off doing like Chuck E. Cheese's and.
Oh, she was an American-born Chinese? So she's still around, huh? Or at least bits and pieces.
That she probably is. Where am I going on this?
Just the link should take you to the.
Yeah, I'm on the podcast that you sent.
Yeah, and it should be at the timestamp of.
Which timestamp?
The link I gave you, the new link I put in the Discord has a timestamp on it. If not, just go to an hour 26 or an hour 27.
Oh, okay.
Geek!
What's up, Geek? How's it going, man?
What's up, Geek?
I see it here. It's just not really showing much, and we're not going to get much audio through this.
No, I don't want you to get the audio. I just want you to see. I just want you to see the video.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me pull it up here.
And don't mind me, guys. That was my 226-pound me in the upper left-hand corner. So
yeah, even Pete looks heavier here.
Yeah, we all lost weight.
And some of these guys, like Nathan,
yeah. So if you scroll forward a
Frankie,
little,
I don't know any of those guys.
So, you might know Nate. You might have talked to Nate before.
Maybe. But, I know I never met Frankie.
No, man, you're lucky. And then Juan, Crazy Juan, he's a really good guy. He's got a Steel Battalion Xbox controller. This was 2017. I'm starting to find the weight you lost, Mike. All right, scroll forward a little bit. Because they're
okay, here's where you're showing some of the pictures.
Yep, back up just a hair because it's got one of the panels, so it shows so it's Sophie Reynolds, Tyler Bushnell, and can't remember who the third guy was. Mark Thompson was...
Is this Toman?
Toman, CEO of...
I'm trying to read this.
Oh, that's the guy. That's the guy who owned the people making Sydney Hunter.
Oh, okay.
So, and then if you scroll ahead a little bit, I've got who the panelists were supposed to be. And I had never heard of anybody but Tyler Bushnell. Like,
is this what you're talking about? Yeah, these are the panels.
Yeah. And then the first guy got canceled due to flood.
Whoa.
Yes. So I don't know
Herman,
any
Rob
of these.
Barron, early video game history. Marvel versus DC films? Like, what fucking Marvel and DC films were there in this time period?
I don't know. Oh, in the 80s, there was probably like a Captain America and stuff like that.
Well, okay, let me ask this question. Were they going through the time period in the 80s, or were they going by what was going on then? Because this was, 2016, 2017?
Dude, I have no idea. Dude, Carl Uncle Yo Custer. And look at how long this thing lasted. Like, this was supposed to be a 2-day expo.
They probably didn't even have enough to... I love how they just scratched canceled due to flood on there. I fucking love that. Oh my god. Wow, this was like a cursed event.
This was. And nobody was staying until 8 o'clock. We left at 2 o'clock, I think.
Galaxy's saying it had to be around 2015 to 2017 because Gamer's Guide was around then.
Could be.
Jake's making a thumbnail, so he's just kind of chilling. Thanks for hanging out, man.
This was East Bumwhat, New Jersey. This was Edison, New Jersey. At the Edison, I don't even know. So now if you start going forward.
Hey, at least you didn't go through Freddy Krueger's hood to get there. Like you did with Psy.
So if you go forward, now I'll show you.
Trip through the Poconos.
Yep.
Okay, so there's some of the pictures you showed earlier. Are we going forward a little bit further, or I need to go back a little bit?
Go back a hair.
Okay.
You see the picture before that. So that was how busy.
There's like nothing here. Like,
yeah, there's nothing
there.
There's
nothing here. It's a huge space with like 2 arcade machines in it. And some booths that look like they haven't been unboxed.
And
like,
one of those booths was Brett Weiss. All right, so slide forward to past the picture of Jacob, and you'll see right there. That was Sophie Reynolds sitting on her phone because no one was in line.
She's so bored.
No one was in line.
She's so bored.
Nobody stood in line to get her autograph.
Oh God, I feel so bad. I feel like
I do too.
I feel like somebody should have gone up and just gotten a pity autograph.
I know. So if you roll forward a bit more,
see, this looks a little better. It's still pretty barren, but that looks better.
That's very barren. It is very barren. And
yeah, Galaxy's asking who was the one next to her, and Scepter was asking if she's actually charging for autographs.
Think she was charging. Oh, she was charging. There was, I think the person next to her was her handler.
Handler?
Yeah.
Needing a handler for an event like this just makes no sense. But okie dokie.
All right. So if you go to about 140, I actually have some like video of, and you start playing it, you'll actually see. You'll actually see this past this. There were a couple Saturn games I saw on the floor there. This was the entranceway to the expo.
I'm doing the same thing Frankie is. I'm turning my head going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. All right, and then you'll see.
Yeah, Gake's like, okay, that's like how long ago? That's like 2017.
2017. Like this yeah. And then I have, so next up I do have actual 4 footage. God, look, I look like I was stung by wasps. Oh, hold on, you missed it.
What did I miss here? Hold on, let me go back a little bit here.
Hang on, let me see.
There we go. Is this what you're talking about? There's
yes,
Mario walking around in the background for some unknown reason.
Yes, fat ass Mario.
I can't tell if it's actually Mario, if he's legit a plumber trying to fix something.
So, I tried to get a little bit of the floor. There were sections with nothing. You say that looks
Dude,
better.
You've got enough in there to park a semi where you're at. It's ridiculous.
There were 20 people in that larger. There were more vendors than there were expo goers.
And there's nobody walking around. All these people came in and set up.
Yes.
They spent like the whole freaking day setting up.
And got nothing.
And there's like nothing there. There's no one there.
Nobody. Look at the disappointment on my child's face.
Yeah, he's like, can we be anywhere else right now?
I mean, except for getting a $30 Xbox.
Yeah,
no, this was
like, this is way scarier than the road trip.
No, Scepter, this was not an.
Greg's like, he looks like he's got AIDS now.
Thanks, Geek. I don't know if you realize this, but that's getting clipped. Just so you know, that's getting clipped.
Worth it.
Can't see any crap.
That Mario guy's not a real plumber. I can tell just by how he's walking.
No, Scepter, this was not an annual convention.
Can't see any crack. He's not a real plumber.
This was a one and done. This was a one and done.
Even Scepter's feeling bad for the vendors.
I felt bad for the vendors. That's why I bought the Xbox. Dude, I bought the Xbox because I felt so bad. I had to get something while I was there.
Oh, it's just awful, dude. That
was
terrible.
Awful. And I mean, it was.
To be honest, I kind of understand it, right? Because like I said before, the Colecovision ran for like maybe 1.5 to 2 years at most. That was it. I mean, if you count in the time of the Atom, which made it like a personal computer, you might could push it up to like maybe 3 years. But I think they even tapped out on that around 84 and went back to doing. They had a big hit with the Cabbage Patch Doll. They did Outdolls. They bought the company, did Trivial Pursuit and Parcheesi. They made Perfection. They went straight back into toys because it just the market wasn't really working for them at all, and the downturn just killed almost everybody, right? And they just decided that it just wasn't going to work for them and shut down. So they just didn't have anything to go on at that point. So while it was a great console and a great prototype of a console kind of to come and ahead of its time, they had a bunch of games for the time period.
They had 136 games. That's not insignificant.
That's a lot of games for a console that only lasted maybe 2 years.
I mean, the Atom came out in 85. Figure the Atom came out in 85. So they were making games from 82 to 84. And it is a shame because if you go down the list...
No, we're not taking it too personally, man.
Oh, no. If you go down the list of games, and it's funny, you talked about, like you said, your mom, my mother played Ladybug, and she flipped it. We took a picture of it, sent it to Coleco. She flipped Ladybug.
Yeah, I actually want to show this because we've talked about this game multiple times, and this is a wild game. It's kind of like Lock and Chase a little bit, if you guys are familiar with Lock and Chase.
Little Lock and Chase. Oh, and another game that was like this, Mousetrap was a ColecoVision game.
I don't remember Mousetrap. I don't think I had that one. My mom would play this game forever. I don't think any of us were ever.
Our really moms. Good. This was a mom approved game.
Yeah,
much. This was Pac-Man meets Mr. Do meets Lock and Chase.
This was very much like Lock and Chase. You could close and open doors and stuff. This had the different barriers so you could block off opponents while you pick stuff up. So it took the Pac-Man methodology and made it more of a puzzle game at the same time, kind of like an action puzzle game. Yep. And unlike Pac-Man, you don't want to grab those skulls. You want to grab all the letters that you can, and you want to grab all the little X's or pellets or flowers, I think is what they were, on there, and not get eaten by the bugs. And instead of having the bugs have different patterns, they would change bug types from level to level, right? Yep.
And you wanted to pick up these things when they were in a specific color. So you see special and extra up on the right-hand side. You wanted to pick up the letters when they were in those colors, and eventually that gave you extra lives. And I forgot what special did.
I don't even remember.
No.
But it's a cool game.
It was an awesome game. Mousetrap was like this, except you used the keypad on the controller to open and close various doors.
Yeah, but it was like that. Asking top 5 ColecoVision games.
Ooh, all right.
I don't have that many ColecoVision games in mind, but I'd say Time Pilot's probably near the top. There's another one that I've got footage of here, Turbo, which is probably one of the only racing games.
That's one of my top 5.
Let me see if I can pull up the footage for Turbo so you guys can kind of see Turbo. Smurfs is definitely up there.
Smurfs is in my top 5.
I had a blast with Smurfs. Ladybug has got to stay in there, primarily because of Mom. So that's like 4. And I'd probably say Venture.
Venture was so good. But Zaxxon's got to be in there somewhere.
Yeah. I'll probably drop Venture in favor. I'll probably drop... I'll drop Venture in favor of Zaxxon. I was going to drop Turbo, but there was something about this game that I really enjoyed for some reason.
Dude,
and I am not a racing game fan.
No, because this didn't just do this.
What's up, Jeff? Good to see you, man.
You get curves. There was one part of the level where it was like you were kind of going down a hill. Brother Jeff's in the house.
Yeah, I actually think I've got footage of the point where you were like going down the hill.
Yep.
Because this is like going through a full track. It just progressed.
Yeah.
From area to area to area.
Right,
like
here.
You're going down this like hillside. Here's where it curves one way.
Yeah.
Then as you go a little bit further, it actually progresses through like a mountainside. And I think what drew me to this game the most is like, if you'll notice, when you slow down, like the car looks a little bit less sporty and it looks faster and faster, more like an F1 car the faster you go. Like the actual car design changes. And I always thought that was super cool.
I will die on the hill that Sega took this as inspiration for Outrun.
I could kind of see that, because see, now you got your nighttime view, and then here you're on snow, and it's actually slick.
Yep.
That was the cool thing. It was actually much harder to drive on, so it wasn't just like a cosmetic thing. But yeah, it really felt like you progressed a lot. You're trying to pass as many cars as you can to get this progress meter up.
And the wheel was beautiful with this.
Yeah. I heard a lot of people complain about the wheel, but I thought the wheel was okay when I played it as a kid. I don't remember having any problems with it. Now, this is Venture, for you guys who've never seen Venture. And I had a lot of fun with this game as a kid.
I did too. And it has music.
This game got really hard. Yep. This was one of the ones that had music. And this game got super hard. Eventually, those guys on the outside would come in. And it didn't dawn on me when I was a kid, but when you're in here, it's doing this whoosh, whoosh. So those are basically tides coming in that I didn't put together when I was a kid.
Hmm? We were playing Outrun 2 on the 360 the other night. The frame rate is really bad. Really? I've got Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. I don't remember that being that bad. So the problem is for me, there are so many insanely good games. I'm
using OBS, Jeff, and I'm using something called
Social Stream Ninja.
Social Stream Ninja, and that's what allows me to pull these up like this. And that works really easily inside OBS. It's pretty easy to set up. It takes a little bit of configuring, but it's not too bad. And it's a really nice tool to have on podcasts or just on normal streams, things like that.
I love Social Stream Ninja. Wait till you figure out how to do the floating emojis.
Yeah, I haven't messed with Rumbot.
No. It's not. Floating emojis is part of Social Stream Ninja.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, you do it as a browser source, and when somebody puts an emoji up, it flies it on the screen.
Now, see, this is probably one of the better looking games on the Colecovision.
Scepter. Okay, Scepter emulation on the 360. That's what it. Yeah, I've got this. Okay. I got you. I had it backwards. I'm thinking of the OG Xbox version. Sorry.
See, we were talking about Smurfs earlier because Galaxy mentioned it, and
I always considered this the first real platformer.
I think Pac-Land was before this.
Did Pac-Land come before this?
I think so. It was arcade, but I think Pac-Land came up before this, or right around the same time. And Pac-Land was a lot more advanced than this.
84. Pac-Land was 84.
Okay.
Let me see when this was, though. Hold on. Let me make sure.
Yes, I was saying Pitfall is the first one he ever played, which would have been much earlier.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean.
Everybody does the same thing on that part of the stage. I remember doing that all the time myself. You would always jump a couple of times to make sure you got that jump timed right.
Yep.
And then do the jump. Everybody did that. And then you just loop again. And it just kind of kept going.
Pitfall came out the same year as this.
I remember loving this game. I played the crap out of this.
Yeah. I always consider this, kind of like the granddaddy of platformers, just because of the way it.
Yeah, dude, Smurfs on this, Vinny, was a stellar looking game for the time. You got to remember, this is pre-NES, right? So you've got fluid motion, you've got solid jumping mechanics, you've got a good character arc, you've got nice backdrops, reasonable platforms. Yeah, it's an impressive game for its time period.
Yep.
It's why it's up there as far as games go. For those of you guys that haven't seen Zaxxon, we'll pull that up and then we'll start winding down a little bit because.
Well, and while you're doing that, I want to go. Here's the reason that I can't really pick a good top 5. Let me rattle off some games that were on the Colecovision that people don't understand were very good looking.
Like Donkey Kong Jr. was amazing looking.
That
game looked phenomenal.
And that was arcade perfect. Arcade perfect. Bump and Jump, Burger Time, Centipede, Choplifter, Congo Bongo, which was Sega's answer to.
This is probably one of my top graphical looking games on there.
Yeah.
This game just looks phenomenal.
Yep, and played phenomenal.
It plays good. It looks good.
Cosmic Avenger, Defender, Donkey Kong Jr., like you said.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go over the big ones. There was 2 Frogger games, Frogger and Frogger 2 3 Deep.
Mr. Do was another really good one.
Mr. Do. Gorf. I don't know how many people remember Gorf. Galaxian was on here. Gorf was kind of like a Space Invaders kind of game. Gyrus was on this. There was a James Bond game on here that was decent. Jumpman Jr. For those of you who are computer aficionados, you know Jumpman by Epix. Jumpman Jr. was a ColecoVision game, and it was perfect. Jungle Hunt, Ladybug, Looping, which was a really neat game. Miner 2049er had a Coleco version. Montezuma's Revenge, like Mousetrap. So look up Mousetrap if you can find it.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm pulling up a couple of these so we can show a couple of them.
And Mr. Do and Mr. Do's Castle were both on there. Pitfall and Pitfall 2.
I think I had this one. I had this one.
Pit Stop, Popeye, Cubert, River Raid.
Hold on. We'll start with Donkey Kong Jr. and then we'll kind of move our way over here. Because I'm putting.
I might have to do a ColecoVision night. This was so good.
This was a great looking game, and this is a tough game too.
And this had music in it. Dun 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 dun. It was just that, but it had.
But I've got the music
on. No, there's a way to do it,
but yeah, if you guys get a chance to check any of these out, they're quite cool. Donkey Kong Jr. is actually quite a complex game for its time. Because you've got to move specific things down. You've got all these things chasing you. So you've got to kind of figure out how to maneuver both of these and avoid everything coming at you. It's a crazy difficult game. It was a big bump in difficulty from Donkey Kong to this.
It was a killer title.
Because each time you got one of those keys in there, you started unlocking like pieces of his cage.
Yeah,
which was cool.
Yeah, you were having to rescue your dad.
Yeah. So you've got that one, and then here's Mr. Do,
which looked. I mean, this stuff holds up so.
This was a blast of a game. I had so much fun with this as a kid.
This completely holds up.
Because this was like a variant on Dig Dug, if any of you guys ever played Dig Dug. Right? Because it was the same premise. You could like inflate things and stuff like that, but basically you're trying to collect all these cherries. You drop these things down on the enemies. You could get a power-up, or you could like shoot things at people and kill them.
Well, what his main weapon was a bouncing ball.
Yeah.
That then that you could kind of throw. And you kind of see it in his hand.
Yeah, he's got it in his hand now, but he's not fired it. So
he's not firing. There you go.
He fired it then. But you don't get that many of them either. So you had to be kind of judicious when you fired them. So that was
you had one at a time. You can only fire one at a time. That was there's Mousetrap.
And then here's Mousetrap. And I swear I had this.
And now look how smooth that is. I
had this.
And this was very much like Pac-Man and Lock and Chase and and those games.
But this is just some of what was out there. And this is like 1982 actually. And a console for 1982 to be able to pull off stuff like this is not bad.
No.
I mean, you look at it compared to modern day stuff now, and it's not much. But you look at it in the scope of what was out there around this time, and it's kind of crazy.
This was such a shame that Coleco was a.
Now the controller's a little spotty. I'll give it that.
At times, the controller's a little
iffy. I mean, I think it was probably better, more solid overall than the Intellivision controller, but...
Look, you turned into a dog.
Yeah, you turned into a dog so you can like beat up the cat. That's great.
It's just a shame that they got caught up in the crash because Given if the market had not crashed, I mean, Coleco could have lasted. I would say they would have lasted through. Through the NES.
You could do it with a D-pad, or you could hook up like your arcade stick, and you could do it with an arcade stick. Either one of those would be fun. And honestly, a D-pad on ColecoVision games feels fine. It feels absolutely fine.
Yeah. They have real quick Spy Hunter. There was a Star Trek Strategic Operations Simulator was really good.
Somebody mentioned Pepper 2. I don't remember this game at all. I'm going to pull it up.
Pepper 2 was decent. It was another one of those. There was never a Pepper 1.
Oh, no, I remember this game.
Yeah, this was kind of like Kicks.
Yeah. No, I remember playing something just like this. I wouldn't have remembered it had you told me about it, but yeah.
There was a version of Star Wars the arcade game on Coleco. There was they had Super Cobra, Tapper.
Yeah, Tapper's an old one.
Tatankum, which was a Parker Brothers game. Victory, War Games. I mean, there were so many.
Hey, Crazy, good to see you. Yeah, we're kind of talking all ColecoVision tonight. Matter of fact, we were about to wrap up here a little bit because we've been going for like 2 hours or so.
Yeah, Keystone Capers was on here, which was Activision. There was a Dukes of Hazzard game, and by the way, there were
that worked with the controller,
wheel,
the steering wheel controller.
Yep. So did Bump and Jump.
Let's look up Bump and Jump and Dukes of Hazzard.
Pit Stop, also by Epix. Pit Stop was a racing game that was popular on computers that they brought over to the ColecoVision, and that supported the wheel.
Wow, just the still of that looks good.
Which one?
Bump and Jump.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting back in my rhythm of finding stuff and then pulling it up. That way people aren't staring at a blank screen all night.
Yes, a Genesis controller does work in the ColecoVision.
Honestly, it's pretty solid for Bump and Jump. I mean, it's not arcade, but I mean...
And so did the Atari computer.
Bump and Jump's a weird game. I don't think I ever had this one. I only remember seeing it like later.
You do have to mod your Genesis controller to make it work. The one that did work pretty much flawlessly were all the Atari.
Yeah, I think that the Atari ports were the same as like the Genesis ports, so you could pretty much use your Genesis.
But there was something about the Genesis wiring that you had to.
Technically, you had the same pinouts on this, but I don't know how well it worked. So there's Bump and Jump, and then. Wow, really? First person? Seriously? Are they trying to do first person on this thing? They were.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so funky.
But it worked.
That's fairly advanced. I'll be honest, for a console to be pulling this off.
Look how smooth it is.
That's not bad.
No.
I mean, it's a little for anybody who does motion sickness, but
look at this.
That's so many buildings and stuff. That's crazy.
Again,
if somebody were prone to motion sickness, this would not be good. But
right.
For the time period, this is wow, right across a bridge too.
They could have lasted longer than 1984, 85 had the crash not happened.
Yeah, easily.
Would the NES have surpassed them? Yes. Would it have done it right away? I'm not so sure. And by that time, Coleco could have had the funds to put out another system.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole landscape could have been so much different if
there's a lot of things that would have been different had the crash not happened. I don't know that Nintendo would have gotten the handheld, the foothold that they got in the market had that crash not happened in the States. because Atari still would have been there. I think ColecoVision would have started really making the push. The 7800 wouldn't have worked. Well, it didn't work anyway, but the 7800 wouldn't have done anything next to the ColecoVision. ColecoVision would have just stomped all over because the audio was better. Graphically, it's just as good. It would have been even cheaper by the time the 7800 released, and they might have even had a ColecoVision 2 by that time.
Yeah, I mean, the game. I mean, they had games that just, just couldn't be beat.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff out here that's just kind of like crazy.
Their version of Popeye was some of the best.
A couple people mentioned that one. I'm going to pull that up too.
Even their version of Pac-Man, Atari Soft did put Pac-Man out on the Coleco. It wasn't bad.
This is always a weird game to me. I think I saw this one earlier, and it's strange.
Which one?
Popeye.
Oh, Popeye.
This one's a little funky. I mean, you kind of get the gist of where they're going, and I guess for the time it's not too bad.
I just remember this.
But
soundtrack.
Originally, this is what Donkey Kong was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Popeye going after Pluto to save olive oil, and they couldn't get the license for it. And that's how Donkey Kong became Donkey Kong.
Yep. Miyamoto wanted this.
Yeah. He wanted to make this game.
Or at least a Popeye game.
Or a
maybe not this
game like
game,
that.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh. But this game was great. I mean, it was a great platformer. It was a great arcade game. And a dutiful port on the ColecoVision. Because again, if you look at the Intellivision version of it, or you look at the Atari 2600 version, this was the best of the group. Burger Time was probably the best version of Burger Time. Period. End of sentence.
The only problem with going back and trying to play a lot of these games is picking your level on the ColecoVision emulators is a pain in the butt.
It is.
And that was my big problem with going back and playing ColecoVision. It wasn't so much graphically, it was getting the game started, because I never knew when I was going to be picking hard mode and when I was going to be picking like a regular mode. This is Burger Time, by the way, which honestly is a pretty solid version of Burger Time.
Look at that.
The NES version one looks a bit better, but this is very respectable for what it is.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, the NES version would have, yes. And that's what I mean. I mean, if you think about it, this would have held up.
Yeah, I think if the NES came out, it still would have taken like the market lead. But by the time the NES came out, if they had been running, it's possible they could have had a ColecoVision 2 out by then.
Right. Well, it's also possible that the folks creating the ColecoVision games would have gotten more out of the hardware, as we've all,
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't know if there is a ColecoVision homebrew scene.
Well, like I said, what's his name? The guy behind Sydney Hunter put out Sydney Hunter in 2018 or 2017 for the ColecoVision. So they were still making games for it. Here, there's a guy called Coleco Addict.
And blah, blah, blah.
So,
yeah, you do kind of need the number pad. And that's the problem with the ColecoVision, is you either need the original hardware, you need something that can emulate like a number pad pretty easily, or a way to pull up a number pad.
Yeah.
Because most of the games, you don't need the number pad to play. But you need the number pad to choose what level and how many players and stuff like that when you start the game. But most of the games don't necessarily need the number pad.
Oh, wow. There's a boatload of homebrews. I may have to look into this a little bit.
That's what I was saying. There's a big ColecoVision homebrew scene.
There's a huge, here, let me send you this link.
CollectorVision Games.
Yeah. I mean, was it CollectorVision doing Sydney Hunter? I mean, there's literally stuff like 1942, Arkanoid, Asteroids, Bosconian, Breakout, Caverns of Titan, Championship Pro Wrestling.
Wait, are they selling hardware? Wait, what?
Demon Attack and New Atlantis.
Hold on. Look at this. The ColecoVision Phoenix. Let me see if it'll let me.
Dude, somebody converted the Atom version of Dragon's Lair to the regular ColecoVision.
ColecoVision Phoenix is an open source FPGA ColecoVision compatible system that plays all the games.
Oh, snap.
So they've got an Atom version and the ColecoVision version.
And it's FPGA?
With HDMI output.
Like $7 million, isn't it?
I have no idea.
It has a built-in Atari 2600 core as well.
Well, let's take a look at the store. There's Turtle, there's ColecoVision compatible games. I don't know if they're. And it says hardware, but I don't know where you would buy it on here.
Unless they never finished it. No, but it says if your console's from the second run, note that you've got the latest firmware.
I'll have to see if I can find it at some point because I don't know how much that is. It'd be worth investigating, though. I mean, it's nice that they've made it HDMI and everything. Takes the original carts. So if you can find the carts, you can run it. And then you've got all sorts of games here on the store. The Bomber King, etc.
All right, hang on. Is there one on
eBay? They're not cheap. They're like $55 to $65, but that's not uncommon for homebrews. Homebrews are often like $50, $60 a pop or more, just because it's limited run stuff and they don't have the production.
Somebody's selling.
Okay, so apparently they sold out. And now they sell for a ton.
Yeah, somebody's selling one on eBay for $700.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, that is. I can figure out. I can write down how to pick the difficulty in RetroRoots.
Or you can get an FPGA and you might be able to get a module that'll let you plug in the controller or an adapter to go from 9-pin to USB.
Something.
Because they're using an FPGA. That's all they're doing, right? So they're loading the core and you're emulating the whole console. So there's got to be an adapter or something to let you convert those, so you could use the original controllers. And I thought there was like an NES style ColecoVision controller.
Dude, this version of Dragon's Lair is legit. It's not like the Laserdisc version, but it's legit. My goodness.
See, here's the funny thing is there has to be a way to like select or do things on it, because look at this. Luke mentioned this to me not that long ago, that there's an NES style controller for the ColecoVision.
Have a great night, Galaxy.
Yeah, now Galaxy? Night, man.
I mean, I think I'm just going to look up how to, just look up the controls for Libretro.
I've not played the one on the Xbox. That's the more 3D one, right? Not the
Yes, that's Dragon's Lair 3D.
Yeah.
I used to have it. It was one of the 2 games on the Xbox that was 1080i. I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong. It was good. And actually, I got to interview Don Bluth because he was involved in that game. So I got to interview him when that game came out. That was kind of cool. That was a neat interview.
So how does that work? Because there's got to be a way to do that, right? Because if there's an NES version of the controller on any of the emulators, there should be a way to like go through and select your difficulty level and all that stuff on there. That's funky. I don't know how that works. Now I'm curious. Strange.
All right, so all the
that is a quandary for another day.
Yeah, all the keypads for RetroRoots are like mapped to the other buttons. So like, you know, your left button is B, your right button's A on a regular controller.
Yeah.
Keypad number 1 is Y, keypad 2 is X, keypad 3 is your left bumper. So I mean,
that's just it. Most emulators don't allow you to pull up like the keypad that I know of. I couldn't figure it out, at least.
It depends on the core.
Played it.
Some cores, like computer cores, like the Commodore 64 RetroArch core, let you bring up a virtual keyboard. But this is cool.
No, I wouldn't mind having one of this, but I'm not about to spend $800 for it.
I'm not spending $800.
No, I think that's too much. You could probably buy a mod of Colecovision that would go through HDMI for less than that.
Exactly.
I'm betting you somebody's done it, because there's no end of people, at least out of our generation, that have a lack of love for these consoles. I mean, was it Papa Pete's got a television that goes HDMI? I think as well.
Yeah, and I mean that's why. That's just simply that's why.
Nice.
That's why it's $7.99 because nobody's interested in it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you can or not. You might be able to.
I'm going to try that because I think you can map. I mean, in RetroArch you can map the controls, so might be able to do that.
Did that re-release of Tomb Raider finally come out?
Comes out this week,
says
didn't it?
Says he's got it in Steam. Oh, it comes out this week. Okay, all right. Because I've had that in the back of my mind of one of the ones that I kind of wanted to pick up, but I wasn't sure when it came out. Now this is cool. Oh, I like that. Hold on, check this out.
Ooh,
look at that.
That is nice.
I like that.
That looks sweet.
And that's got the pinout for the FPGA too, if you look at it.
That does.
That's interesting. Hell, I like that better than the regular ColecoVision controller. That's expensive though. Comes out Wednesday and you play early Tuesday. Okay. All right. I think at this point we're mostly just kind of browsing and seeing what we can like spend our money on that we don't need to spend our money on. So we should probably start wrapping this up so I can spend a little bit of time with my wife and then get some sleep. And then you can get some sleep because it's almost 1 o'clock your time. So what all do you have coming up this week, Mike? What are you going to be getting into?
All right. So tomorrow on the NLG show, we've got 2 guests, Gamer Grill, Sister Laurie, and Hemp.
Grilled cheese,
and Hemp. So, and tomorrow we're just gonna talk. We're just gonna talk to them, get to know them, and talk some games. On Wednesday, Peter will be back doing probably some more RoboCop Rogue City, which is a
I need to pick that game up. That looks so amazing.
Wow, that's impressive.
Every time I see it, I want that game.
I do too. It is, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
So Thursday we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and Thursday is when Microsoft is going to come out and disappoint everybody on the Xbox side by telling them going multi-platform. So they're doing some sort of podcast in the afternoon. So we're gonna talk Thursday night about that. Well, so X, if you listen to me, we're not doing a show based upon the Xbox stuff until Thursday, which is when we'll have time for you. So Thursday we're going to do that, and then Friday night, I have no idea.
Thank you for coming by, Si.
Friday night with Peter or Mike yet, and then next Monday I will do Mike's Monday Night Retro, and I think I'm going to do Colecovision stuff to piggyback on this.
Oh, that came out
Here's
good.
Here's the thing Daddy made just now.
Check this out. Hold on 1 second. Let me get to the right.
Oh, is this the...
That was good.
Wow.
That's nice. Did you use an AI generator on the cake? That's sweet looking. I like it.
That is sweet. So that's my week. The 14th is when our tomorrow is when the partner thing starts. So tomorrow will be our first partnered stream.
I thought it started on the 14th.
Is it? Oh, today's the 13th. Never mind.
Today's the 12th.
12:52. Yeah, it's the 13th for me now.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow. Yeah. Which Valentine's Day. What a great time to start. Deleting Fortnite. You haven't even played it yet.
Yeah, he did that with AI. That's still good, man. That came out great.
That's awesome. I'm not
very good with AI generated pictures right now.
Me either. And honestly, I really enjoy like what you and I do with our thumbnails, which is real pictures of us.
Yeah.
And I do all the goofy poses and the props, and Peter's all into it too.
A lot of times I don't even like put myself in there. I just try to come up with like something that's kind of recognizable for whatever theme I'm trying to run with and run it that way. But there's something to some of that AI stuff. Some of it looks really good. Some of it doesn't. I thought that one the Gate just came out with, I think looks solid. I really like that.
Yeah. It's breasts look pretty sweet.
Nice.
Oh, you know what? Too, and I might be able to do it this Saturday if Electric Porpoise is doing another.
He was streaming tonight.
Karaoke night on Saturday. I'll be there, and then maybe we can do some karaoke together on Saturday night. I was doing Singing for Real this past Saturday. That's why I couldn't make it.
So I think on my end, there's not a whole ton going on. I'm going to try to get something out by Wednesday, maybe Thursday. I'm going to try to at least get another short video out. I'm going to keep working on the Colecovision video that I'd like to have out by next week. Since I've got a little bit more time now, I may try to work in some streaming on Rumble. I don't know. My setup's a little bit better for it. I feel like the mic positioning and everything like that's better so that people can hear me a little bit cleaner. It's certainly easier to set up. And now that the permanent stream keys are out, that's one less hassle that I have to do, that I have to deal with each time I try to stream on Rumble. So that should make things a little bit easier to be able to do that. I'm debating on where my uploaded content is going to continue to live. I thought about setting up something on Odyssey and putting it up there and putting it up on YouTube. Most of Rumble doesn't seem to really care for uploaded content, so I don't know if this is a good place to continue to upload it or just try to do more live engagement with stuff like this and try to cover the topics that way and then save the videos for other platforms where they seem to have better legs. Because it takes extra effort to put it up here, and nobody seems to want to watch it. They'd rather watch a live show. So it's just the nature of the platform, And the platform hasn't really made... The people who are behind the platform seem to want more and more live content. They want people going out and doing things and stuff like that. They want more streaming content. They don't really want uploaded content. They don't want static VODs. That's not what they're interested in. My point of contention for that is, why even have the VOD space for more than like 30 days if you're going to do it that way? If you don't want it long term, then why allocate the server space to it at all?
Well, I don't think they don't want it long term. They just don't know they don't know what to do with it.
They have to start making some effort to figure it out then, because Panda's been on here longer than any of us, and he's been waiting for years and years and years for them to figure that out. And they keep turning a blind eye to it and going a totally different direction. So I've got to assume they don't want it. I just don't know why they're wasting the server space on it if they don't want it. It's confusing. And it's fine if you don't want it. Then don't allocate space for it.
But again, I don't think they don't want it. I think they don't know what to do with it, because there's no searchable pieces for it yet. I know they keep working on searchable stuff, but they haven't figured that out.
Dude, they're more focused on doing different mechanics and stuff for streaming, because it's the main crowd that talks to them is a streaming crowd. And so
absolutely.
They're working with what those people want, and that's fine. It just doesn't. I'm like a microcosm voice of someone who would rather do uploads every day of the week than stream. Sure. I'd rather have my head buried in Premiere and do that most of the time than stream, because I feel like I just feel like I don't add much. Except outside of the podcast, when I can play off of somebody else.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand what you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying, and your edited content is awesome. I mean, case in point, I really enjoyed the Midway. Video.
I had a lot of fun with the Midway, and there's going to be plenty more of those coming out when I can get time to like build them. They take a couple of days or so to write up, because particularly if I do multiple sources, if I have a slow day at work, I can like spend a lot of time on it. Otherwise, I have to spend time after work, and it takes longer to do. It's fine, because they're going to come up when they come up. And you're right, Sir X-Man. I haven't tried locals. I haven't looked at locals. I have a locals account. I just don't do anything with it.
I don't either. I'm honestly trying to move people towards just straight up subscribing to our Rumble channel, because the locals thing, I thought there was going to be more integration between the two.
They haven't really worked that out yet. I don't know what.
It's really disjointed.
Yeah,
and I feel bad because I've neglected the locals, because I don't have enough cycles in the day to
no, there's nobody subscribed to my locals. You're the only person subscribed to my actual channel, I think. So that's fine. And honestly, I kind of want to bring a little bit more stuff here, but I don't know. I don't know what I want to bring here. I have a couple of ideas, but a lot of that's just going to take a long time to set up and do, because it's kind of work up a video, do a video, then do the podcast on it, and kind of gauge interest on it, because it may be one of those things where I think it's a neat idea and nobody likes it. You know what I mean? Which is pretty common, because what I think is neat in my head is not what anybody else thinks is neat. That's pretty common. That's pretty normal for me. This will be really cool. Dude, that is so lame. No, I like it anyway.
And this is Big Block is right. Nick has some of the best rage on game streams.
Yeah, I just don't really want to be like raging on a stream. That's just not. I don't want to be.
It'd be your thing, though.
I don't. You've already got like Silver Fox and other people that do that crap. You don't need.
No. Let's squash that right now. I love your brother Adam. You are much better at that, because I think. He knows this. Some of his is manufactured. Yours is not.
Oh no!
Yours
is upset, genuine. I'm upset.
Yours is some genuine rage.
Yeah. When I'm irritated at a game, I'm legit irritated at the game. There's no getting around it.
Yeah,
it's just how it is.
Yeah, and some of that organicness is excellent. See, exactly. Pure and nice, not evil. Conveyed all the frustration we feel. That's. I played Tomba 1 on Steam. Well, I don't care if anyone watches
it. It's not so much caring about getting a crowd on it. It's like when I'm streaming, I feel like I have to constantly be engaged and be entertaining somebody, even if there's nobody there, right? It's kind of just baked into how I've learned how to stream. And I find it exhausting after a couple of hours. And then I'm kind of more drained than if I just played the game solo. So I had to find a way to make it not as draining when I'm streaming, so that I'm actually kind of enjoying the game the way I would normally enjoy the game, And then I always kind of think, well, would anybody want to watch this being streamed, or should I just play it solo? Like the other day, I was going through like training mode stuff on Mortal Kombat 1, right? Sometimes I'm just in practice mode, just trying to figure stuff out. Sometimes I'm going through their tutorials and doing stuff like that. And I'm like, who the heck would want to watch this? No one. I'm not very good at the game. Now, if I was good, really good at fighting games, and people are watching me doing a lab and like taking notes and learning, I can see people enjoying that, because there's plenty of people that do that, right? There's like Maximilian Dude and a bunch of other people that are on like Twitch and other areas that do that stuff really well. They're really good at those games. Like they just fundamentally understand the mechanics better, right? And that's not what I feel like anybody would want to watch. People might want to watch me get the crap kicked out of me on Grounded, maybe, because I started dipping my toe into that one a little bit. But, make a drinking game out of it. Just to do a Star Trek thing. Was that the VR one you wanted to do, Sir X-Man? Because I know there was like a VR Star Trek one.
Without Mike. What the hell is going on here without Mike?
He's trying to kick you out of stuff. That's what's going on.
I see that. He's just mad. He's just mad because I called him out, because I'm calling him out for crapping on Fortnite and then downloading it and playing it. And then didn't even download it and play it with us. Just downloaded it and played it.
It's a free download. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying the game out. Hell, I even tried it out at one point. I mean, it was free. Why wouldn't you at least try it? If you don't like it, that's fine. But there's nothing wrong with trying it. I mean, they've got battle passes and stuff, but most of that, you don't need any of that stuff to be able to get anywhere in that game. It just gives you skins and fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if you want the fun little extras and you want to look more unique and stuff, and you're playing it a lot. Anything I'm playing a lot that's free, I don't mind spending a couple bucks here and there on skins or things like that. That doesn't bother me. That's just me kind of saying thank you to the developer for an experience I'm having a good time with. There's nothing wrong with that. And he's saying he didn't play it yet.
I bought the.
Oh, a show just talking Star Trek? Oh, yeah, absolutely. We can do that. Oh, I got no problem doing that. Yeah, absolutely.
What? I am capable of talking Star Trek. Back says, I'm the real monster Mike created. I will take full credit for that.
All right, even Gake's going to bed, man. We should probably bounce.
Yeah. Good night, nerds.
Yeah.
Good night, Geek.
So we're going to bounce out of here. We're going to call it an evening. Thank you guys for hanging out with us as long as you did. I appreciate it whenever you guys come by and hang out with us. I'm going to try to make a little bit more of a presence on here. I've not been watching as many streams as I can. I just don't have enough time.
Yeah, hurry up, because I'm your only sub and I'm not getting anything out of it.
Yeah, bite me. You get the pleasure of talking to me.
I get the pleasure of talking to you. I have to pay. See, this is what happens, folks. I have to pay to be on RetroRoots. That's
right. That's right, son.
Oh my Lord.
I need to fix some of my money falling from the sky things so I can put them in here. All right. We will see you guys again. I'll try to see if I can start working out like at least a day to stream. I know it's not going to be Wednesday. I have a Valentine's thing to do with my wife on Wednesday, and we already had that scheduled. If I don't do that, she will justifiably be allowed to kill me. So we're definitely doing that for sure. So it might be tomorrow, might be Thursday. Thursday might be a little bit easier to be able to do something. So we'll see. If I happen to pop up something impromptu, I'll try to let you guys know at least a day in advance. It'll probably be on X or something like that, or Twitter, or whatever the hell you want to call it. So you guys will see it pop up there. And pop in if you want. It's cool. If not, that's cool too. It's just me kind of doing that.
Hey, pop in. Pop in.
Nah, no, it's no pressure on my part, man. People pop in, that's cool. Sometimes it's just background noise for people because people are busy doing other stuff. And that's cool. So
we get a lot of lurkers that way too, right? They're we're not talking about the damn Xbox thing tomorrow. Thursday. We'll have space for you on Thursday. Tomorrow is hemp and grilled cheese night. That is their special night. They are guessing. I'll tell you what, we've had a lot of great, just as a shout out to the Rumble community. So far, we have had on as guests, Silver Fox, Lumpy, Vaping Gamers, Scottish Viking Gaming. We've had, and we just recently had Sister Planet Shan Shan. Wonderful. Shannon, I love her so much. She's so sweet.
She's a sweetheart. She really is.
And this past Tuesday, we just had Messy Zebra, who is also just so
she
sweet.
Really
and
is. She's super sweet.
And I got to tell you, she was, and I talked to Peter after this, we try to be just good people, right? We try to have a place people can come and enjoy themselves. We talk video games. Sometimes we debate. Sometimes we have, we have some good stuff, but on its face, I try to treat everybody, at least until they give me a reason not to, like I would want to be treated. And he was so comfortable with us on Tuesday that she announced her name. Like, not her full name. She didn't dox herself, but she said, just, you know what? You guys talk about monikers and using, my name is Tiffany.
I was about to say, I wouldn't give I try never to give my full name out online.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care.
There's too many bad actors online, period. Right?
Yeah. But there's also so many Mike Mullises out there, it's hard to find me.
Yeah, so, fair.
No, it really is. There are, and we're all related. It's everybody with my last name, no matter where they are in the country, we are all related. But she was so comfortable with us that she gave us her first name, like on air, and told us some things about her that I don't think, like even Lumpy he like put the little eyes in the chat, like, whoa. So not that he didn't know these things, but he was just surprised that she was so open. And I talked to her about it afterwards.
Yeah.
And she said, you guys made it such a safe place, and you were so respectful and fun, and a safe and respectful, and I felt secure enough to do it. So I take a great stock in that, I take a great stock in.
No, there's a lot of really good people on the platform, and while we may not always agree, like politically or whatever, and me personally, I just try to keep all that out. Period.
Sure.
Because I don't care enough to get involved. I think it's all just a crock. But and I'm not a big fan of it.
You can't discuss it like you used to be able to discuss it.
Welcome back, Scrambles.
You used to be able to discuss it over beer and
you used to be able to, and now you can't.
Now you can't. Now you're canceled.
Like I was telling Panda the other day, I'm like, everything is sexist or racist if you think about it long enough.
Right.
Put enough thought into it, and you can make anything horrible. It just kind of is what it is. So
right. So it is.
You got to be in the headspace to want it together. Otherwise, it's just innocent, clean, fun, or just a regular discussion, which is what it should be. So. But
and so I take a great amount of pride in where I am in that community, and where how people perceive not just me but Peter and NLG. I mean and I take a lot of pride in that. So this week we'll have on
Mike.
Yeah. And then he also shows up so that I can correct him on all of his wrong things. It's what I do.
Uh-huh.
He needs it sometimes.
Okay. Before you dig the hole any deeper, we're gonna call it. Thank you guys for showing up. Make sure to check out Mike. Keep a lookout for stuff popping up on the channel. It has been popping up. There's been a couple of videos so far this year. I know it took kind of a long break, but it took me a while to, and I may do a short video on that showing the new desk setup that I've kind of got going on. So you guys can kind of see kind of what took me forever to kind of get done, because I had to clean a ton of stuff out of this room. Like, it was so just full of stuff that I've collected over the last several years that it took me ages to get it all out. And so that took priority over doing like videos and other stuff. And then I had real life stuff with my wife and other things going on. And then the desk came in, and that was a priority to get set up. And then I also had to figure out like what I wanted to do new, because I was running out of ideas on the old stuff, to figure out what to do there, and then starting to get it all together. But I feel like it's kind of starting to kind of hit a stride now, right? So it should be a little bit easier to be able to get at least one video out a week, sometimes two. And then maybe I can do some streams here and there on Rumble or something like that in the interim, so that there's a little bit more content out there for people to kind of come in and hang out and enjoy and stuff like that. I might even start trying to do like the editing streams again, so you guys can kind of see part of that process. And maybe I can kind of organize those a little bit better. That was my problem with the first one, is it was a good start. But I feel like if I want to do this, I kind of want to do them in an organized manner. So if somebody wants to learn something, they have a video that's titled after what they might want to learn. And then can do it that way. So that'll kind of be some planning on that kind of stuff. That'll
Very nice.
Kind of be like maybe once a month or something like that. Do like kind of like a sit and learn kind of thing on Premiere or something like that. And maybe I'll start getting into After Effects or some shit like that at some point, because I feel like I'd like to start learning that to kind of bump things up a little bit better than what I'm doing right now. Because there's some cool stuff in there to be learned too. A lot of it, really. So that's kind of where my headspace is for the year. There's some deeper thought topics and stuff like that I want to do. The first one I'm doing is on AI. I need to do the voiceover work on it. Its influence on gaming, its influence on movies, its influence on like story writing and stuff like that, and that kind of stuff, and what people's thoughts are on it. The thought behind that isn't to tell you guys what to think. It's to kind of pose a couple scenarios and let you guys think about it. And then I'd like to do a live stream on it and pose several scenarios to like the audience and to any other panel members that want to come on. Anybody's eligible to be a panel member if you're interested in that video. It'll be one of those things where you just leave a comment and say, hey, I'd love this one. I've got like some serious thoughts on it. Then I'd love to come on a stream. And then we'll set up a stream, have people come on and talk about it, and then I'll probably do a follow-up video or something on that. So that'll be kind of one of the things that starts to kind of come in as I start kind of getting those worked up. I'm not sure what I'm really going to title it yet. Most of these things don't have good working titles. I'm kind of fiddling around with title ideas because I don't really know what I'm feeling. But those are the kind of things that I was kind of bouncing around, and stuff that has more engagement with the audience, where either you submit things or you guys jump in, or more game show type stuff like Panda does on his channel, which is a fantastic channel, by the way. If you haven't seen Panda Sub 2000's channel, you should look him up on both Rumble, Odyssey. He's on both those platforms. He does fantastic stuff. It's totally worth checking him out. He does a really, really good job of actively engaging the audience, not just pulling up comments, but literally playing games with the audience. So those are great things to like have in the back of your pocket and do. So yeah, no, Sir X-Man, if there's one of those that you want to do, man, like there's a bunch of different topics I have in my head for him that I've got written down. It's just a matter of getting the video out there and then seeing, because I'd like to have opinions that are people that are kind of for whatever I'm discussing, and ones that are against whatever we're talking about, so you can hit both sides of the argument. I don't want it being all one side or the other, is the point with those, right? Because I want people to genuinely come to their own conclusion on it at the very end, right? And make people think about these topics that, while everybody complains about them, nobody's really talking and listening. And I feel like that's
what nonsense is that? You should be telling people how they should think, like the media.
No, I don't do that. I try never to do that. I tried never to do that in any channel that I've done. I present what I find as facts, and if people have contrary facts, I'm totally open for that. I'm always okay to be wrong. So, you know,
scrambles.
I'm for and against it. There you go. Stargate's another great one. I've only watched Atlantis and the original series and the movie. I never did the Stargate universe, I want to say it was. I never got too deep in that one. I didn't like that one very well. I just couldn't get into it for whatever reason. But yeah, we're definitely going to wrap up. It's like 11:16 now, and I need to have something to drink and spend some time with my cat and then pass out and be miserable tomorrow because I stayed up too late. That's my every other Monday plan. And Mike's playing too, because he's still here. It's almost 1:30 in the morning.
I know. Well, this is what I'm getting my $5 a month worth.
There you go. There you go. Spending time.
Just remember, folks, I sacrificed myself and my child for all of you.
Show that again.
I didn't even get a copy of Sydney Hunter for the Colecovision. Didn't even get a copy of it.
All right, guys. Have a great night. We will see you again in about 2 weeks. Hopefully, we'll have a topic a little bit sooner. And I can do more homework like we did for this one tonight. And we can have a little bit smoother show. So I like it when we can have these shows where we can really stay on topic and kind of go into things and pull up a lot of stuff and have something what I feel like is a solid show for you guys. So, but have a good night. Thank you again, everybody. Happy gaming.